Sometimes it does help though.
Well, if you're already on your Mac, then yeah, you respond.
Yeah,
Like
quick.
I don't want to log in on my phone, my iPad, and get 3 different notifications.
True. Yeah, because you got the Apple Watch, you got the iPad, you got
so
literally everything.
No, but when you're not on the phone, this goes off first.
Yeah.
When you're on the phone, it goes here first.
What
No,
do you
for
not
me,
have
it's the
from
opposite.
Apple?
I'll get a text message, right?
Well,
No
are you on your phone?
Even when I'm not on my phone, I'll usually get
Okay.
the message on my phone about like 30 seconds later. It'll pop in my Apple Watch.
No, my watch always gets it first,
Right away.
and then it goes right to here.
Which one do you have?
I have the 4 Nike. I can show it to the camera.
Maybe because he has to update it.
I
Could
do have
be.
to update it.
That's probably why.
I am at least 3 or 4 generations behind
Yeah.
on,
He
the,
probably-
on the Apple
he-
Watch update.
Probably has to update it, but yeah, no. Come on, there we go.
Nice.
Perfect.
We could use this audio if you want for
That's fine.
for the intro. It's up to y'all.
Yeah.
Could.
That's are you're upset about Brinky Poo?
Yeah, that's my heart.
Wait, who's gonna replace him in a 3v3?
Don't know. We
See,
can get to that when we talk
You
about
need
it.
a big body, right?
Well, yeah, she's 6'6".
Unless Clark,
I mean, she's not 6'6",
but why not?
but why not?
I would like to see it.
Caitlin. Then you have a small body lineup with her. Who's it? Van Lith and who else? Who's the other one?
Oh, that's
I
small.
do not remember. I remember I saw the tweet at least like they brought it out a month ago, so I don't remember who it is now.
What's that girl's name? Aaliyah Wilson or something?
Asia Wilson.
Asia.
Yeah.
She's on the team.
She's on the
She'll
she's on
be-
the actual
she'll be-
5v5
she'll-
team.
Okay.
She'll be playing.
Yeah.
Damn.
But yeah, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode number 10 of the Floor Spacer podcast. Double digits, guys. We did it. But as per usual, Tyler Schwartz, Anthony Cavino, Giovanni Squitieri coming at you from the studio once again. Hopefully this episode comes out Thursday because we are recording this on a Wednesday because we had to wait for the finals to conclude. So I'm going to have a really fun night of editing today. So should
So
be a late one.
you want it to come out tomorrow?
Yeah, I'd rather it not go
shit.
out on Friday because
Wow.
now that we're
Okay.
done with the playoffs, I want to start getting these back up on Wednesdays. And
Yeah.
if it does go out Friday, I don't want this episode being out for 5 days before
Yeah.
the new one comes out.
Right.
Yeah.
So at least we can get
Okay.
it out tomorrow. But I
That's
have
fair.
absolutely no idea. Hopefully we don't run into any issues that way. It's just a seamless edit because these can go shorter than my shorts edits. If that makes any sense.
Interesting. Yeah, because he's not putting in any graphics.
I'm just compiling footage together and just fixing transitions and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So
But
these are
it
easy.
takes a long time to watch. the whole way
Well, I
through.
don't watch sometimes.
No?
Sometimes if I know everything's good, I'll
Yeah.
just put it in because there's nothing we need to cut out. It's just all
Right.
raw footage.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and we're always careful with what we say. We're raised
Yeah.
right, essentially. So,
All right.
Some of us.
Fair.
yeah, some of us.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, hey.
I'm just kidding.
Yo, Gio, you put the.
You got some great parents. You got some great parents.
Are you talking about his feet again?
No, he put Gio. I was gonna say the Theragun.
Okay, yeah, we're not going to talk about that, and none of you guys will know what we're talking about. So,
Why is he still looking at me?
yeah, why is he still? He's making
Because
that
you-
uncomfortable eye
You
contact.
put it somewhere, bro.
Okay. how are
Yo, I'm about to just clock out, bro.
Honestly,
This is a joke that
I'd rather see you
Never mind.
clock him than clock
Never
out.
mind.
Yeah.
you gotta
But-
edit. You gotta edit
might.
it in.
Yeah, but how are you doing today, Gio?
Yo.
Disregard what he just said.
After that, I want to go home. but honestly,
Then you're not gonna use the Theragun after we're done recording on your legs.
yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. How you doing?
Theragun is outstanding.
Yeah.
Really is.
Paid promotion.
No, not
God.
sponsored.
Not sponsored.
If Theragun wants to sponsor us, or Therabody, I think is the company.
Yeah, either
we would,
or.
We would love the sponsorship. I mean, we
Absolutely.
would love it. You know.
Yes.
Yeah. And
So
send
We're
us,
very good promoters too.
send us
Yeah.
some.
We are very good.
Send us some products in the mail, and then we will be grateful to show them on live.
Yeah.
Yeah. If any company or corporation or anyone wants to sponsor,
Be the first.
sponsor an episode, we will read off like a minute, 2 minute
Easy.
long advertisement during the episode. We can cut to a separate clip of us doing it.
Yep.
We would love to do that. So, and if you guys are new, remember to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. We just hit 1,000 subs a few weeks ago. Now we're on the way to 2,000. I think currently at the time of recording, we're at 1,151 subscribers, which means we're 49 away from the next 100, which is 1,200. So
1,200.
pretty good. Also, if you guys are on Spotify, make sure to follow us on there. Give us a 5-star rating. Answer the polls. We usually put one out every single week. Make make sure to follow us on our socials at Floor Spacer Pod on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, YouTube.
We're not on Snapchat.
Oh, Snapchat. I meant to say TikTok. That's my bad.
Snapchat.
On Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and make sure to follow us at the Floor Spacer Podcast on Spotify. Still trying to figure out Apple Podcasts, but the RSS feed's being a pain in the neck. So whenever we get on there, we get on there. But and yeah, make sure to follow our socials, including Gio's new Twitter, which he is absolutely loving, as you can see by the look on his face right now.
It's killing me.
But yeah, we have a lot to get into today. Obviously, we will talk about the elephant in the room, the NBA Finals, later on into the episode. We do have a couple news stories, some brief stories to get into prior. We have a coaching firing that we'll touch on, and it's Gio's turn for shower thoughts this week. So it should be a good one, and we'll also recap the 23-24 NBA season and playoffs just very briefly around the end of the episode. So, lads, are we ready?
Let's go.
Let's do it.
All right, let's get into it. All right, into the first segment /story/ whatever. I still don't know what these are actually called.
I would say
but-
news piece.
Yeah, the first news piece. This segment's going to have, I think, 4 news stories for us to talk about. First one we mentioned in the intro. And this just happened last night and was announced a few hours before we started filming. And that is Los Angeles Sparks forward/center. I think she plays both positions. And number 2 overall pick in this year's draft, Cameron Brink, has been diagnosed with a torn left ACL, which will not only rule her out for the season, but will rule her out for the Olympics as she was set to play in the 3-on-3 team. So, she was kind of driving in, and that left foot planted really badly. And, any ACL injury, the knee caves in. And I think we all kind of knew it right away. It was a non-contact injury. Very unfortunate. We wish her a speedy recovery. But I'll go over to you first, Gio, because I know you are a big fan of Cameron Brink.
I'm not a huge fan, but I like her. She's a good player, and I was rooting for her.
Yeah.
But it's really unfortunate, the ACL injury. It's really, really unfortunate. And I want to say something really quick, that you're going to see a lot more woman ACL injuries than male ACL injuries, and that's because of the anatomy of a woman. They usually have wider hips.
Yeah.
Which leaves the angle of their femur bones coming into towards their knee joint to be in a more pretty drastic angle rather than a man's. And so what that's going to do is going to have a higher chance of them caving their knee inwards.
Right.
So any plant, any cut that they make they're not necessarily used to, it's going to lead to a higher chance of an ACL injury. So
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
But
So, because the women has the hourglass shape, the men have the triangular shape, broad shoulders, down to a skinny torso. So,
Yeah. And she's also more slimmer compared to the rest.
Yes.
Right.
She has KD legs, essentially. So, and it was
Yeah.
it was an awkward angle of when. It wasn't like a typical normal plant like when D Rose did it or when Jamal Murray did it. She
Right.
was kind of falling down.
Yeah.
The knee just kind of caved inwards as she
Yeah.
was falling. It was just a really really precarious situation. It's really unlucky.
yeah.
But yeah, no, it's rough. You're going to start to see a lot more, especially the league's been a lot more physical now than it has been.
True.
Especially with all the chippy games and the rivalries and everything like that.
Yeah.
And I felt like she was very out of the picture with controversy. She was just kind of doing her own thing, just kind of cooking up in LA.
Yeah.
So
The main talking points was always Caitlyn and Angel.
Yeah.
Brink was just there, and, she's a top pick. They knew she was going to be great. Now with the ACL injury, she'll be on the sidelines for the rest of the season. She won't be. They're going to be a playoff team, I would assume, as well.
don't know.
I don't know.
They were the second.
They were the
had the
second
second pick,
yeah.
so they probably
They
aren't great.
need her, but I mean, I think she was for her body build. I think she was due for an injury. But
That is wild.
That's
I
an
don't
insane
know.
take.
That is wild. That's an insane take.
So that also means Wemby is due for injury.
I
you
would.
saying?
I would think. I think just when I was telling you, I think Brink is built like Wemby almost. I feel like tall, skinny.
right. But
I think she was kind of. I don't want to say I don't want her to get injured.
Well,
but I
obviously.
think was probably like a Chet Holmgren type of thing. Like
Right.
first season he was out. Same thing happened with Brink. She'll be back next year.
Well, there's a difference between Wemby and Chet in that regard.
Yeah.
Because Chet wasn't strong enough. You saw the muscle he put on in the offseason during his rehab. Wemby, you've seen have you ever seen the video of Wemby just crawling on the court with just his bare feet and his hands? It He's trying to strengthen like all the tendons, all the
Right.
muscles in his
And his
legs. And
toes,
yeah,
yeah.
that way he avoids those kind of injuries. We
Right.
saw
Yeah.
him roll an ankle so bad, and he wasn't even limping. He didn't
Yeah.
miss any time, didn't come out of the game.
Yeah.
So,
That's the thing.
yeah.
The whole injury prevention and injury rehabilitation in today's athletes, like in today's day and age, it's so advanced
Yeah.
as like even 10 years ago. If Cameron Brink had this injury 10 years ago, like you would be questioning her future as an athlete.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't
Nowadays, it's
think-
like she might even come back even better
No,
based
yeah.
on what they can do nowadays. So
Exactly.
I think the
I'm
thing,
excited for her.
I think it was surprising as what had happened so early.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I mean, I've got from like looking at her, and we haven't seen her in person, but like even at draft night, you just saw like how tall, skinny her legs are, like built like whatchamacallit.
Like
You're saying KD.
Kevin Durant, yeah.
Yeah. So like I don't want to say. I mean, I'm not shocked that she got injured. I just felt like it was something she would have had a problem with down the line. I don't think as early as what is it, the 10th game into the season so far.
Something,
Yeah.
I think
Not
15.
even?
I think it's like 14, 15.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect that. I definitely think she was due for some type of injury because just how big she is in the league and how tall.
Yeah.
Not to say that I'm sure at Stanford she didn't get injured. I don't know her injury history
No,
at
she didn't get
Stanford.
injured.
Nope.
She didn't get injured.
Yeah, so I don't know if it could just be the step up, like Tyler said, the
Definitely.
contact, the step up to the bigger woman in the league.
Absolutely.
And I also think just unfortunately how her leg just landed. She was driving in,
Right.
and she has long legs.
Yeah.
And
It's a combination
shit
of the two.
happens.
She used to be the bully, and now
Yeah.
she's meeting her match in
Yeah.
the WNBA. So
Yeah.
it's a shock to her, and normally she probably wouldn't have done that if she knew more about the WNBA, like and how physical they are. She probably wouldn't have drove in like that because she would have that intelligence.
I mean, she's done it. She's done it all.
No, yeah,
she's done it
she's-
so far
yeah.
this season. It's just that
Yeah.
one.
But just the
in
way-
that way, like when you play in the WNBA for like or a high level sport for long enough,
Right.
you know what you can and can't do.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And so that was a learning lesson for her. Like next time she's gonna have to do a different move to get around that, or
Yeah.
a counter move, because she got beat to the spot where she was trying to go, and
Yeah.
then that's why it put her in an awkward situation where she had her knee
Right.
caved inwards. But next time she's gonna know she's gonna have a counter move and blah 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 blah. So
It's all part of the development,
Yeah.
essentially. But
No, yeah. She'll
we-
be back.
yeah, she'll be back, and I agree with you. She'll be back better.
yeah,
I mean, you've seen a lot of even with KD when he tore his Achilles, he came back much better for those few years. Obviously, he's a lot older now, but we do wish Cameron Brink a speedy recovery. Wish her all the best, and hopefully the Sparks can salvage whatever's left of this season. So, so that's that. And then we're gonna unfortunately go from a sad story to an even sadder story that it was announced, I think, right before Game 3 started of the
I think.
NBA Finals that. Longtime point guard, absolute legend, the silhouette of the NBA logo, Jerry West, had passed away. I think he was 83, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Just extremely unfortunate. Just one of the nicest guys in the NBA. Someone that everyone just loved being around. He played for the Lakers for I think his entire career, and obviously now does front office work with the Clippers. And just been a pioneer for the NBA in general. So I'll go to you first, Antoine. Your thoughts on the legend himself?
I mean, we didn't grow up watching him, but of course we all knew him as the logo. That's who he was. I mean, I didn't even know he was the logo until like I got to like my teens probably. I just thought it was a random dude they just put there in a silhouette. I'm like, oh, there's a random dude in the NBA logo. Like, that's sick.
Yeah.
Later found out it's actually a player, and then it was Jerry West. So we know a lot about him. It's weird that he's in the Clippers front office. He's a Hall of Fame Laker. Went to go work for the other team.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting. Kind of thought you would stay with the Lakers, but it's fine. Players that have retired have gone on to work for other teams that they didn't play for, that weren't greats on. It's part of how the league is.
Keep in mind too, when he played, the Clippers weren't even a thought in
Yeah.
the NBA's mind. So.
It's kind of sad. We've been seeing also yesterday, Willie Mays passed away. We're seeing a lot of just the greats of the game before we were born. Just now, it's they're in their olden ages where their health is declining slowly. I think Willie Mays was 93, so he was 10 years older than Jerry
Wow.
West.
Yeah, he lived a long, beautiful life.
Yeah.
good for him.
So, and even Bill Walton a few weeks ago, we're just seeing all the greats slowly pass away, and it's part of life. when you get to that old age, you don't live forever. I wish we did.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
you know, love Jerry. Of course, he's the logo. He'll remain the logo for probably the rest of the time we're alive.
He'll be the logo forever. I don't see it ever changing.
People were saying make Kobe the logo once he passed.
Wait, Kobe doing what?
No, when Kobe passed, they were petitioning for him to be the logo.
Like him doing what?
I don't know.
I don't know, just
him being the
yeah,
logo.
silhouette. You figure it out. You just find the silhouette that fits in the NBA logo.
I think the NBA's been too established for
Yeah.
like a really long time to change it now. And Jerry West in the past didn't want the logo to change.
Yeah.
So
I think it's
I don't remember what he said when they asked him if Kobe should be the logo or not. But what do you think, Gio, about just Jerry West? 'Cause I know you have a soft spot for the old players.
Lakers.
For the
Lakers
80s and
players.
70s. And
Oh,
everything
he's before that.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
like 60.
Well, obviously he played early on, but I know from the 80s and back
Yeah.
is like your bread and butter when it comes to the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, I don't actually know much about Jerry West. Like, I don't know how he was as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, you said he was nice. Or
Yeah,
a good
based
guy.
on everything that I've seen from NBA brass and players and everything, everyone he was well loved,
Right.
well respected by everyone.
Yeah, and he was around the NBA for his whole life, so he had to have been.
Exactly.
But obviously, it's another life that has ceased. So it's not like it's not a happy moment, but
Right.
it is what it is. Stuff happens, but prayers go out to him and his family, and yeah.
Where do you rank him among point guards all time?
Top 20.
Really?
He's top 5.
Nah.
I would say probably
Top 15.
I would say top 10 probably.
Top
I
10.
think we're all agreement that number 1 is Magic.
Well, you in a short a couple weeks ago said that Steph was the best.
You did say that.
Okay.
So
Steph, Magic.
we think it's Magic. But yeah, obviously we send our prayers and condolences to the family of Jerry West, to the Lakers and Clippers organizations, and just LA as a whole. And yeah, he'll never be forgotten. Not a chance.
Never.
But so yeah, now we have to go to another sad story. This is the end of an era. Unfortunately, eras do come to an end. It was announced during the finals, one of the post games on NBA TV, that Charles Barkley is calling it quits at the end of next season when the TV contract runs out with TNT. Obviously, he's been with the organization for almost a quarter century now. I think next year will be the 25th year that they have the NBA rights, and he's done. We expected him to probably do something within TNT because obviously Ernie, Shaq, and Kenny are lifers. They're not leaving the network at all. But it looks like the Chuckster is unfortunately done. He's going to Cancun. He's going to chill out for the rest of his life, and we don't know if he's going to make any more media appearances elsewhere and whatnot. But just your thoughts, Gio, because obviously we all love Barkley. He's one of the funniest guys on television.
Yeah.
Just what are your thoughts on this?
It's kind of surprising, right?
Yeah.
He's one of the best at what he does. Love Charles Barkley, man. Like, he makes watching NBA analysis fun. I mean, it's fun because it's basketball, but he makes it like entertaining. Like,
Right.
You know what I mean? So he's always had that in him as well. Like, even going back to the time he played basketball, he was like an entertaining guy. Like him and Michael Jordan going back and forth on a couple of videos.
Yeah.
And you get to see a taste of like what this guy brings to the table personality-wise and entertainment-wise. And it's like, yeah, this guy's a talent. He's a serious talent. And it surprised me that he's retiring. He's great at what he does. He's almost at the top of his game. And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
it's your choice, but we would love to have you. But it is what it is. What do you think, though, Anthony?
I don't think it's surprised me as much. When he was talking about it and when someone interviewed him, like, he's loyal to the TNT family. He didn't want to go to ESPN, NBC. He wanted to be with them the rest of his career. And unfortunately, that's what didn't happen. Barkley's up there in age, I don't think and I think he's going to do something on his own. I could see something happening with him. I don't know if it's pod related or something else, but he did say he wants to pass the torch to either Jamal Crawford or Vince Carter.
Wow.
Both great choices, by the way.
To start, I'm sure Shaq would do the same thing once his time is coming, to retire, to just do his own thing. Maybe Barkley gets a front office job somewhere.
I don't think he's about that life.
Me neither.
I don't know. But yeah, just they had so many funny moments. Him and Shaq on Inside the NBA. I can think of countless moments of them going back and forth. But yeah, he had an illustrious NBA career and an illustrious media career. I think it's time for him to just go and just live his own life and do his just, if he's still, I don't think he needs to work that much anymore. He has plenty of money saved up.
No, he's got generational wealth.
Well, he's never been working for money. Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
No, but
always been
for him,
the love of the game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Literally.
I don't think he's done. I think you'll see him definitely the last year on TNT next year. I don't know if he'll make some maybe ESPN stuff once the finals comes around. I think that depends on what Shaq, Ernie, and Kenny do as well. Maybe he'll have something with them in the off. Once that TNT deal is over, maybe they make appearances on his pod or whatever he decides to do, so on and so forth. But it's going to be sad after next season ends because we don't know who's going into the booth for NBC, for Amazon. Once that happens, then we'll have a good take. But yeah, I mean, I think Jamal Crawford. I haven't seen a lot of Jamal Crawford calling games or just analysis. I've seen a lot of Vince Carter. I think Vince is great. Jamal Crawford, I'm sure, is the same way. So whoever steps in, we're going to probably lose one with JJ Redick soon. He'll probably be a coach. We're not going to see him in the booth anytime soon.
That's a good thing. That ESPN Finals crew is not it.
Yeah.
It's not it.
JJ's going to probably end that, and maybe we'll see how long he's in LA for, but that's a topic for when he gets hired.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a story for another day.
But yeah, I think Barkley. I don't think Barkley even thought about taking, I guess, a coaching position once he retired. He went right to the media.
Nah, he wants nothing to do with that. And he also said that he talked with all the networks like ESPN, NBC, and he wanted nothing. He wanted nothing else but TNT. And honestly, he's going to go out with a bang. And that's really all you can ask for. And you'll see him in the finals as well next year. Even though TNT won't have it, he'll do the NBA TV stuff with Shaquille O'Neal. They should still be doing that with like Isaiah Thomas and them unless any of them get plucked by the other two new networks. But
that'll be awesome.
Yeah, but we do wish Charles Barkley the best in his career life going forward. We'll see what happens.
They're gonna build something. Probably they're gonna have a nice send-off year for them next year. They're going to do a lot different, I think, and have them, do what they want to do I mean, they've been doing what they want to do ever since, but I think it's going to be more fun, I think, last year for them to just, have funny moments that they do and just do their job as well, of course.
They should get, all 30 teams should get a home game on TNT next year, and they should have like a ceremony for them like before the game.
A send-off, yeah.
As like a cool like commemorative way as a farewell.
That would be cool.
That would be cool.
I think the last broadcast we see of them will probably be a very emotional one.
Absolutely. It'll be the conference finals.
Yeah.
I think it'll be the Eastern Conference Finals next year. So whoever the Celtics wind up playing, essentially. But
you mean whoever the Knicks wind up playing?
They're not even getting past the second round. So
the Knicks. It would be so fun if they're the champions next year.
Yeah, no, I don't think anyone outside of New York would like that. But
I think the NBA would appreciate that.
The NBA would because they're just Knicks biased. But yeah, essentially that is that. And then going into our last story before we get into the first main segment. And this actually, I woke up to this news and I was very thrilled about this because I wanted him to stay. That former Raptors champion Pascal Siakam has signed a 4-year, $189.5 million max contract to stay with the Indiana Pacers. Now, next week when we do our 11th episode, we will do. We're stuck between two things of either one free agent that every team should sign or trying to predict where each free agent will go. And we'll know more about that next week, and you'll see, obviously, what happens then. And then 2 weeks afterwards, we'll grade every signing that happens. So we'll grade this later on. But we kind of figured this was going to happen. We knew before the trade deadline that Siakam wanted to test free agency and then quickly realized that it's not feasible in this new CBA because why would a team trade for you if you're not going to stay? No one's trading for rentals nowadays. So the Kings backed out of a potential deal. Pacers jumped in. And obviously, I think that the Pacers are in great shape right now. And we'll see what else they do. But I'll go to you first, Gio. What does this What does this signing say about Indiana and them going forward?
Well, it definitely says that the Pacers believe in Siakam. They believe that they can win with Siakam. Because why would you sign a player 4 years, 100, whatever it was,
Right.
if you don't think you can win with them?
Well,
So,
I mean, sometimes you have to bite the bullet and sign them so you can trade them later on. So there might not be a feel like I do agree with you. I do think they can
Right.
win with Siakam, but yeah, I do understand what you're saying. But continue.
yeah. So, I don't know. I personally feel like this year with the Pacers was a one-off. I don't know
Really?
if they'll be back and better next year.
Really?
So
Okay.
I'm curious to see how everything works out,
Meshes together.
Okay. I think it was a one-off. They got Siakam, and then they're like, "Oh, we can do this." And then I think this next year is not going to be the same. But we'll see.
Yeah.
We will see.
I firmly disagree
Yeah.
in that regard.
What do you think?
To be honest, looking at like the futures bets and everything, I could see a path for the Pacers to make the finals next year. I think they're a good dark horse, in my opinion.
Wow.
I think they can get there. And I think they should be kicking themselves right now because I think they would have easily handled Dallas if they didn't choke those games away in the conference finals. There was a realistic opportunity that they
think
could have
so?
been. Yes. I do think they could have been lifting Larry O'Brien
Wow.
at Gamebridge Fieldhouse this year. But, that's why we play the games. And the Celtics were just the better team in the clutch. So,
Wow.
yeah. So I do believe in the Pacers. And I think if you keep the guys around you, if you can pay Nembhard, and you have Hallie healthy, I don't see why they can't make the finals. Because over the past 6 years, if you win the championship, you're almost guaranteed to lose in the second round next year anyways. So, not saying Boston won't, or not saying Boston will,
Right.
but I think the Pacers are a good dark horse for next season.
Yeah.
So we shall see.
It's very understandable, but something about my gut is just telling me no.
All right, what happens, right? What does your gut say
Yeah.
if Russell Westbrook signs a vet minimum with the Pacers? Are you still going to think they're just a one-off?
Now, if that happens, wait, give me a second. My gut is saying, yeah, they'll probably win. They'll probably win it all.
I will
next
also
year
say
if that happens.
I disagree with what he said too. I think the Pacers will be back better next year with Mathurin back, fully healthy, hopefully.
Hey, I forgot about him.
Tyrese will hopefully be healthy, no injuries.
Yeah,
I think Siakam, they traded for him and they gave up valuable assets for him. It's unfortunate they traded away Bruce Brown. I think Bruce Brown would have been a nice piece for them if they kept him down the road.
I disagree. I thought it was the perfect situation, and you overpaid Bruce Brown.
Agreed.
So you can get Siakam. Otherwise, they would have had to get off of
Yeah.
Nembhard
Yeah.
and Miles Turner.
Yeah.
I think they should
So
explore bringing him back, though.
Bruce
Why?
Brown, there's no need.
They're already deep.
There's no need.
That's true.
What
They
other
are
like
deep.
if you're in your point guard room, you have Halliburton, you have Nembhard, you have TJ McConnell. You can bring all three
Yeah.
of them back. You don't need Bruce
I
Brown.
think
Right, and Bruce Brown.
they need another. I think they need another good role player with Hallie and Siakam.
Neesmith.
Yeah, I mean,
No,
Turner.
they need another scorer.
but do you
They
need?
put up the most points in the league.
They have the best offense in the
Yeah.
NBA.
What do you mean?
I don't
another
necessarily think you need that. Maybe if you get someone like maybe they do go after OG Anunoby.
Yeah.
He was whispering.
That
They,
would
they
be-
were talking at the end of the series after Game 7, so maybe that happens. But
Could you imagine?
that would be hilarious.
I don't think they need an OG. I mean, Neesmith, they're deep, but I think they need another, like,
Well, you said they need another scorer.
I think another scorer.
18 points a game, was injured during the playoffs last year in Benedict Mathurin. So he comes
Yeah.
back. I don't think they need anyone else. We've clearly seen that depth wins you championships. Boston had depth. Denver had depth. Golden State had depth. So at the end of the day, that's what's most important. And I'd rather have guys that are good at everything and not a top-heavy roster that's really going to over-dominate everything, essentially, if that makes sense. But yeah, any final thoughts on the Pascal Siakam contract, on the Pacers, on anything?
No, that's the first extension. We'll see. For
Yeah, we'll see what
a,
else
lo- a lot of other guys coming soon.
Where do you think the Pacers finish next year? Like, what's like a realistic finishing point for them? Because he said, where do you think, like first round exit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they can make the finals.
Oh,
I think they're going to be the third seed.
Okay.
I'm going to do
Knicks number 1.
No, Knicks are 2.
Okay.
We all know Boston's going to get the 1 seed.
Boston is 1.
The East is embarrassing.
I think Indy is 3. Who's someone that can make a jump to 4?
Philly.
Miami.
Philly, Miami.
Oh, Philly will definitely be there if Embiid's healthy.
Yeah.
I think they'll make conference finals again.
Okay.
It's a realistic opportunity.
Philly's winning it all next year.
Philly can't even get past the second round.
No, I'll second it. I think Embiid's MVP next year and they go far.
You think they finally get past the second
they
round?
have
They go to the finals.
They have
They're not
to.
going to win, I don't think.
They
but
have
Nah.
to.
They'll go.
They're too good. Max
I
is
think they're a
Imagine the
second round exit
Sixers,
again.
Nuggets.
That would be fire.
Finals?
That would be good.
I would love that.
Embiid,
that would settle it.
Embiid
But wait,
and Jokic.
How?
Yeah.
But how? Like how is it? Embiid would have to play in Denver. Is he just only going to play the home games?
No, he's got to play. All
He would
set.
have to play
Yeah.
essentially.
We got to see who Philly brings in to help.
Yeah, we'll see. Because I'm
PG?
not. I mean, he's also a playoff dropper.
OG?
So like
OG?
OG, Philly would be good.
That would be
OG, PG,
crazy.
both of them,
Yeah.
both the G's.
Yeah,
But yeah, we'll have our free agency discussions next week.
for sure.
Which will be good. So, but yeah, let's move on. All right, into the first main story or major story, I suppose, that's happened. And this actually happened this morning. I also woke up to this news as well. And it's something that we kind of saw happening for the past couple months now. And that's the Detroit Pistons have officially dismissed coach Monty Williams, who leaves with 5 years and $65 million plus left on his deal. Obviously, we did a video a couple weeks ago on Trajan Langdon coming in as the new president of basketball operations. That led to the parting of ways with Troy Weaver, the general manager, who just did a very piss-poor job in the offseason that we thought was decent. It turned out to be a 28-game losing streak and a 14-win season. The Boston Celtics actually won more playoff games than the Pistons and Wizards had regular season wins. So that's cool. But yeah, we saw Monty coach Phoenix for many years. Was the only coach for Book and for Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson and those guys. Got to the finals, really did nothing after that. Just got obliterated at home twice by the Mavs and the Nuggets. And now this season. So very interesting as far as that goes. We saw a tweet from Woj a couple weeks ago that the Pistons were starting to evaluate Monty Williams' job. And 4 days ago, they brought in an assistant coach, but apparently it wasn't for Monty then. But we'll go to you first, Antoine. Your thoughts on the firing?
Oh, I feel like this is, I don't know, this is definitely not like a Darvin Ham Vogel situation where he's a scapegoat, because Detroit did not have any promise this year. I'm guessing this is more of Langdon coming in and just wants a full reset and just
Seems to
wants
me.
his guys. Who did they bring in for an assistant coach?
I forgot his name. It was like a long like European-esque name. I'll put the name on the screen right now
really
for his
interesting.
name.
I'm guessing there's some kind of connection there with that new coaching candidate they want to bring in, whoever it is.
Right. We don't know who that
There
is.
has to be some connection there.
Yeah.
But I think it's so hard. I mean, Monty is a respected coach by a lot of people, and I think he'll get a job somewhere. I don't know head coaching wise who else is available. Probably assistant, I would think.
It's
is
either
the main.
It's either Cleveland or an assistant. I think I would
so.
love to bring him on as an assistant with the Nets
Yeah.
with Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson there.
Yeah.
I think it's a good fit.
I'd love to see who takes Detroit's job. If it's someone we know, if it's someone that's another outside the box hire. I think Borrego's kind of set with Cleveland. I think Cleveland likes him a lot. That's what I've been seeing a lot on Twitter. Just Borrego's everywhere with Cleveland. Reddick's with LA, of course. I don't know who else is left after Detroit, of course. But yeah, they're gonna owe him. I guess Langdon's financially fine with paying him for the next 5 years.
Well, they did him a favor with all of that. For those that don't know,
Yeah.
Monty Williams has dealt with a lot in his personal life. I know his wife passed from cancer, and I think either his mother or his current wife or girlfriend has cancer as well.
Okay.
So basically, when they gave him the job, they paid him a lot of money, and they were able to let him travel wherever he needed to go. They were going to pay for all of his travel if he ever needed to go back home. So,
Okay.
yeah, right from the start, there was that respect level with the Pistons and Monty Williams. And that's why I was always supportive of the contract, because not everyone understood the context of the contract. So, and yeah, and obviously he doesn't, he's going to be making $65 million just sitting at home. Or if he winds up let's say he gets the Nets assistant coach job, he's going to be getting paid by two franchises at once.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So-
That's like same thing with Vogel and Ham. Like Ham is on Milwaukee staff now. He's getting 2 contracts.
Yeah. We just finished paying Steve Nash, and we still have to pay Jacques Vaughn.
Yeah.
So
That's the problem with firings with long contracts. You gotta pay off that contract until it's gone.
have to. Yeah, it's one of those you bite the bullet, you take your medicine, and you just swallow that pill.
Yeah.
What is the smallest contract that a coach has signed?
Smallest contract? I guess an interim just taking over as the head coach for the rest of the season.
Like Brian Keefe this year, now he got the full
So like
job.
a 1 year.
Well, even like when Jacques Vaughn got hired, before he got his main extension, he got an extension till the end of the regular season from last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's technically, but I don't think you can sign a 1 year coaching deal. I've never seen that. I think anywhere from two to 3 is probably my guesstimation with that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
I know Monty's was about 5 or 6 years.
That's a lot.
It's a lot, yeah. Typically, like an expensive coaching hire is essentially making like what? I think the highest paid is making like 18 a year, which is like a low end role, or like a low end starter, high end role player, kind of around those lines.
Yeah.
So they're never going to make that much money. You have to be the best of the best in order to get that kind of money.
Yeah, I think the highest pay right now is Steve Kerr. He gets 18 mil a year.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I think Ty Lue is second or third, behind. I don't know who the other one is.
Yeah, but you were saying, Joe?
No, I was gonna say I think you said something interesting when you said who was the coach or the owner that got rid of
Trajan Langdon.
You said that he might have a connection with someone else.
With the assistant they hired before they fired
Monty Williams.
So do you think they fired Monty Williams because they want to bring in someone that they're more familiar with? Like
someone that the assistant coach probably gave him a name that they liked.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Why do you think?
Because I think they were in a really tough spot. I think they wanted to keep Monty, but I think if you look at last season that they were trying to make the play-in, and they wound up having one of the most historic losing streaks in sports history, everything aligned completely wrong. Everything that could have went wrong did. When you had Cade just looking just like totally lifeless out there and winning only 14 games of basketball, somehow doing worse than you did when you were intentionally trying to tank. I think that at that point, you cross a line where you just can't continue. I think they had to dismiss him for that reason alone.
Let's also not forget, their team is not bad. They have 2 point guards. Well, Jaden Ivey's playing a shooting guard that could be elite players. They have a young center in Duran. They have Asor Thompson.
Their core 4 is there. Like they have better directions than teams better than them now.
If Killian Hayes worked out too, that would have been another great point guard that they drafted high, but he didn't. But they're not a Wizards type of team. They have young players who are going to be great, but they need to start performing and being well. Like Ivy didn't look good last year at all from the first year. Cade, same thing. Duran improved tremendously. I think Asor. He's a different type of player. He's all over the court, stealing, blocking, passing, rebounding, scoring probably like 10 points a game. But he's putting up the box score numbers that, you see. I hope they don't get Tobias Harris. That's the one thing I hope they don't do. That's not the right player for a veteran to bring in.
Right. Well, they need vets.
I don't think Tobias is the right answer for that, though.
I think he might be.
I think he might. He has history with the Pistons. I don't think it's a bad option.
Oh.
What would you rather them sign Tobias Harris or trade for Zach LaVine?
Well, then you Ivy to the bench. You don't want that.
Right, but I'd rather go for the latter with Tobias Harris. So, it makes sense.
So you probably think Tobias fills in that power forward or small forward.
Well, they need it because you're either just playing Duran out there and having Asar play the 4, or you're essentially having 2 bigs out there, which we saw all season didn't work.
Yeah.
So Tobias Harris is one of like the only like 2 or 3 true
I
fours
want to
left.
see Simone Fontecchio minutes with some 3-pointers, and then of course because he's a great player and he's great for them off the bench. They got rid of Bojan and Burks, of course. They got rid of all their dead weight. They do have Quentin Grimes that we sent them over. Maybe they can do something with him. I have no idea.
They have lots of flexibility as far as,
and they have the 5th pick. They're gonna draft another young guy.
They do. Yeah.
They're gonna draft another guy who's gonna be probably. I could see Buzelis.
That's who they're projected to get.
That's a forward that could fill in beautifully for them.
Unless one of the top 5 teams is looking to trade their pick. I know San Antonio is looking to get rid of number 4. Maybe they swap.
They're definitely not getting a guard. It's going to be a forward.
It has to be.
Buzelis.
He's the perfect fit, I think, based on who they're going to get, who's still on the board. I think he's a high risk, high reward because those G League Ignite guys are not necessarily it. I think Kuminga's probably turned out the best. Maybe Jalen Green too.
Jalen Green.
But I think as far as expectations go, G League Ignite has fallen very, very short. But with this, I don't know who they're going to hire, to be honest with you.
I have no idea.
There's a lot of open options, but I think this is the perfect opportunity to go for a guy looking to make a statement, put his name out there as a good head coach in the NBA. I think you go after one of those assistants. You call up Philadelphia and get an interview for Sam Cassell. I think that would work out beautifully.
I think
agree.
this could be a Kenny Atkinson job.
Yes, this could be a beautiful.
This could be a Kenny Atkinson job. He's been getting interviews. He's at Golden State's. He's Golden State's
assistant.
I think this is a Kenny Atkinson job.
This reminds me very similarly to when he took over Brooklyn, except you already have the guys there, right? We were just relying on guys who picked up off the scrap heap. He already has promise. There's a promising young core in Detroit, and they have picks. So I think you already got a head start on his Brooklyn tenure. It's just a matter of how good are they going to play? And I think this year is kind of the last chance, really, for them. They're going to give Cade the Supermax or the rookie extension, whatever it is. So he's going to be locked in under contract, and you got to put NBA players around him. You can't be having these just mid-offs just around him. Like, you can't be playing Killian Hayes for 30 minutes a game. Like, you can't have those type of games.
I will also say when Detroit is good, the NBA world is also very happy. I think it's the same thing. Detroit is a basketball city, not only because of their championships, but the Motor City they love their teams.
Yeah.
Detroit, I felt like, has been just on that negative side of the line for a long time. They got to get back. I would love to see them back in the playoffs. Imagine that arena in the playoff time. They love their basketball team. I mean, they've had dealt with the Lions. Now the Lions are back to being good, and they've been showing out like crazy for them.
Just going through the motion.
But yeah, I mean, I think when the Pistons are good, the NBA's happy.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Man of very few words.
Yeah, I mean, were they one of the first founding franchises?
I'm too tired to even remember.
I don't even know.
I don't think so. All I know is that they were the only competition to Jordan in the 90s.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Early 90s.
Early 90s, yeah.
Bring back the days with Joe and Isaiah. They have two point guards.
What if they flip the script and bring in Isaiah Joe?
No, it's not that easy to bring in legends like that.
Nah, you can't. The Pistons they've played with fire a little too long. Everything's blown up in their face. They really need to lock in this year, and they at least have to win more than 20 games. They have to just be competitive in games. Try and make, even if you finish as the 11 seed or a 12 seed, that's a W. Because we all know if you have a stinker again, you're not getting the first pick. You're going to fall back to 5 again, and it's going to be the same year every single time.
Yikes!
And that's just brutal for Detroit.
I think this year I'm expecting 2 jumps from piss poor teams, and that's the Spurs and the Pistons.
Right.
I think
the Spurs tanked last year.
Those 2 need to have a jump this year. I think the Wizards are not going to jump as high. I think Pistons and Spurs got to jump up to bottom play-in.
So what's your ceiling for what seed and end result do you see for Detroit?
They need to be at least within 500.
Well, not what they need. What do you think?
Oh, I think they're going to make the last play-in team.
10 seed?
10 seed. They're going to be at least 500 or a little below 5. They can't be 20 wins.
Okay. I know you predicted the Wizards to get the 10 seed. Mm-hmm. So where do you see the Pistons falling?
Their ceiling is 9.
Ooh, okay.
That's bottom of the plan.
Yeah.
Ceiling is 9.
I'm going to go a little bit more optimistic. I think their ceiling is 8. I think they're going to fall short of that ceiling.
Yeah.
But I think they're probably going to miss the play-in again. I think they're probably going to finish around 11, 12.
Yeah.
But probably win maybe 28 games, that's double last year. If they can get off to a good start, like they could probably meet their win total before the year's over.
I'm expecting a lot more than 28 from the Spurs this year.
The Spurs intentionally were losing games this year. Do you really think he was forcing Jeremy Sohan point guard minutes at the start?
Right.
Well, we know Pop's not that bad. Like we know, I think San Antonio doesn't. They're going to strategically kind of place their way into things. They're not going to make the play-in next year. Yeah. They're probably going to finish around 11, 12, and they'll probably wind up getting another, legal top 5 pick in the lottery. And I think the year after, you'll start to see them in the play-in and in the playoffs and everything like that. And we're going to see what Wemby's really made of, essentially. But any final words, any final thoughts on Monty Williams? Obviously, we wish Monty Williams the best and his family. Obviously, prayers to them for everything they've been going through.
Oh, he's doing good. He's fine.
Yeah, he's
He'll
5
be-
years. How much money is he getting?
65.
$65 million.
Forget
And
it.
But on top of his other money he's
Forget
making
it.
already.
Forget
Yeah.
about it. He's good.
I think Phoenix is done paying him, obviously. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
we shall see what happens with him. And I just feel bad for Detroit. I just want them to be competitive. So, but yeah, let's move on.
Yeah.
If you guys didn't know, I fell asleep.
Yeah,
Just rewind maybe like 20 minutes. You might see it.
we do. I did record a video.
Yeah.
We went outside just to take a little break. We usually do halfway through the pod, anyways.
Yep.
And Gio just absolutely drenched himself with the hose. So if you guys
Yeah.
do want to see that, go over to my Twitter,
Yeah.
which you can see below here.
You see my hair? It's still a little wet.
Yeah, you can go watch it. So yeah, that was very funny. But
We may do more of that.
yeah, we
with
might
the
do more of
hose.
that. So
Just our moments behind the scenes.
exactly, yeah, could
We
do it
don't
as
really
like,
show that.
we could do it as like a forfeit or something if someone gets
Yeah.
like a prediction incredibly wrong.
Yeah, I like
So
that.
that could be good.
I like it.
But it's time, ladies and gentlemen, to talk about the final series of the season, the 2023-24 NBA season, and it's the NBA Finals, as per usual, between the Boston Celtics and the Dallas Mavericks. We're going to take it game by game like we did before with games 1 and 2. And we'll start off with game number 3, which saw the Boston Celtics take it 106-99. Dallas was pretty solid throughout that first half, really made a response, and then Boston just rolled through the rest of the second half, just kind of dominated throughout the game. And we're going to look at the box score because I don't need to memorize these yet because we're still just starting off as a podcast. If you guys disagree, then oh well, So Jaylen Brown finished with 38 and 8. Tatum finished with
38?
38.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
38 and 8.
30 points, 8 rebounds, 8
30
assists.
and 8.
Yes.
Got it.
Tatum finished with 31, 6 and 5. Derek White with 16, 5 and 4. Pretty good always around on Dallas's end. Kyrie finally woke up. It's about time.
A little late.
35, 3 and 2. Luka
This
had,
was game 4.
game three.
Game 3.
yeah, because we did games 1 and 2 before
Right.
episode 9. Luka had 27, 6 and 6. Derek Lively had 11 and 13 rebounds. PJ Washington had 13 and 8 rebounds as well. And unfortunately, we're kind of getting into that same habit with the Dallas Mavericks as far as just getting outplayed. I mean, the blocks still are just glaring to me. Dallas had 1 block. Boston had 6. This has been another just big disparity throughout this series.
Wow.
Boston had almost double the assists as well. Turnovers were pretty even. Dallas actually made their free throws in this game, which is beyond me. I mean, they've shot like ass the entirety of this series from the line.
The entire playoffs.
The entire playoffs, to be honest with you. They've left a lot
They were
of games on the table, which they could have used to preserve energy for the finals.
Very true.
Which in reality, they just didn't have. But from this game, it necessarily wasn't about the game. Because afterwards, you know how all the games are aired on ABC. So post-game and everything's on
ESPN.
ESPN with Scott Van Pelt.
Yep.
And he had Brian Windhorst on his post-game show. And I've never seen Bro go off the way he did, but my goodness, if you guys haven't seen the clip, just it's all over Twitter. We can link it in the description if you guys want to go watch it. But yeah, he essentially went off. You want to explain it more? You feel free, can, Gio. That was not even English, but go ahead.
Feel free, can you? Okay, but yeah, he absolutely roasted, obliterated, just disrespected Luka, and I would say rightfully so.
Yeah.
So part of what Windhorst said, Wendy, he was saying that Luka was just his whole entire attitude, his demeanor in the game was just terrible. Defense, he was a cone. That was probably the main thing that he said. He just horrendous on defense. And then also just constantly complaining, being the last one to come up or come down the floor on defense. It's just all around bad attitude, not a winning mentality from Luka, and he roasted him for it. And, I think I agree 100% with what he was saying.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think body language is so important. I remember last year, remember Draymond's show? He was making a point during last year's final. This was like, I think, it was either a regular season game or it was a playoff game. And Jamal Murray had the ball with like 4 seconds left. Jokic was wide open, but Jamal wanted to take the shot. He takes like a fadeaway midi over 3 people because he was getting triple teamed basically. He missed it. And Draymond pointed out Jokic's body language of not dropping his shoulders once, just gave it a clap like, nearly. And you're not seeing that from Luka, essentially. I've watched the entirety of the Nets season this year. Spencer Dinwiddie was a problem with complaining to the refs. And it's actually fitting because they played together for a season and a half. But we witnessed this guy go up for a layup. He would get fouled, right? Spencer Dinwiddie's got one of the worst whistles I've ever seen. But it's just constant complaining every single time, and it just kills us. Because you're going back 4-on-5 now trying to defend against a good team, and the Nets aren't good to begin with. So it's a huge disadvantage for Dallas, especially this was the game, too, that Luka fouled out. We didn't even mention that. He fouls out with 4 minutes left in the game. That could have been a game-changing opportunity. I can't believe I forgot that. My brain just completely took a vacation. But, yeah, I mean, the Windy rant was so warranted. I'm so proud of Brian Windhorst because it needed to be said. Because this is a wake-up call for Luka. He's 25 years old. Almost, I think he's either 25 or 26.
25.
Yeah, he's right up with his prime in a couple of years. And if you're going to have this attitude, body language is so important as the best player on your team. And if you have shit body language, then you're not winning shit. That's essentially what it is. But what did you think about that rant, Antoine?
I think he hit it on the nose. I mean, I think after this game, I think even the teammates of him, the Mavs saw it, and they even told him to stop complaining going to Game 4. I don't know if you saw that, but they had a meeting, and then they told him to stop this because I don't know if that was part of the Windy stuff or they were just tired of seeing it. But I'm guessing Luka thought he'd have a whistle that everything would go his way, and he sees it's not happening, and it's just he just gets upset. And then also Boston notices that he's getting frustrated and they just attack him. Not to mention he's already a cone on defense, which he needs to improve on tremendously this offseason to be an all-around great player.
Right.
And you saw Jaylen Brown say in Game 5, if Luka stays in, I'm staying in. Because he knows Luka ain't going to do anything against him defensively, and he'll just drive. He's home as well. He knows his own court.
Plus, it's the finals, too. It's not like you have a series to worry about. So you can expend all your energy you have left. And he's not playing in the Olympics, so
exactly.
He gets to just leave it all out on the floor.
But yeah, Luka needs to work on his game defensively. Offensively, I think for him, he needs to become a little more leaner. I think he needs to,
He has put on a little bit of weight since his earlier days.
He has.
He definitely got stronger, but I think he's put on a little too much where he's not as mobile defensively because his lateral quickness has definitely declined over the years.
He needs to lean up a little bit. I would say Jokic definitely is a bigger body than him, of course, being taller as well.
Right.
But he needs to lean up and get faster defensively with his hands, with his feet, to get to blocking shots, to stealing passes and everything.
I don't even have to see that from Luka. He doesn't have to get the blocks and the steals. All I want is effort.
He needs effort.
That's
and
all I want.
The effort, or at least just be in the shape that Jokic is in. You see his stamina is just nuts compared to the rest of the league. If Luka, even if he loses 10 pounds and just gets that endurance up a little bit more, it's going to be totally different going forward. Where you're not, and also just stop relying on the whistle. That's always been the fault. If you look at a lot of the All-Stars that aren't champions, Jimmy Butler, Joel Embiid, these guys rely to get to the free throw line to have good games. And you see them feast in the regular season, having 40 and 50-point games like it's nothing. But once you get to the playoffs, a lot of the possessions slow down. Physicality is not rewarded, or essentially it is rewarded, but also not. It depends on the referees, but they don't call a lot of those ticky-tack fouls they do in the regular season. And that's where it's important in the sense of, if you look at like the Nets, for example, we have no whistle. So if we get to the playoffs, we're adapted to that style already. Same thing with the Nuggets. Same thing with San Antonio and Golden State and Indiana. And that's why they were able to always succeed. So I think that was my biggest takeaway from Game 3, in the sense that it wasn't as far as the game itself. It was more of the optics. Because Luka's optics looked really bad throughout that entire.
What do you mean by optics?
Just the optics is how you're perceived, essentially. So, what's like a good example? Like, the Russell Westbrook when he was not when he was in the Lakers, his optics were horrible.
Right.
Essentially, and now with him, prime OKC, the optics were phenomenal.
Right.
So I think this game was really optic based because losing this game essentially lost them the series because After this finals, teams are now 0-157 when going down 3-0, and they're 0-15 in the NBA Finals. So essentially that right there, loss in the series, Luka fouling out, putting himself in that position to foul out of the game and then having the audacity to tell his bench to challenge it.
Yeah.
That's not
That was
good.
next level atrocious right there.
Very bad. And Jason Kidd didn't. Props to Jason Kidd for not challenging it, or he might have challenged it. I don't know.
he did.
I think he might have. He shouldn't have because, well, I mean, props to challenging it because it's the last resort. But like at the end of the day, it was one of the clearest fouls I've ever seen in my life. So
it's unbelievable how you can have a foul, right? And
Yeah.
then you get pissed at the ref for calling the foul. I've never understood that. Like, how are they that convinced that they didn't smack the guy across the head?
Right.
Like, I've seen.
The only way I could make the argument for that if I'm playing devil's advocate is if they called the same exact foul on the other end.
Okay, that's the only way.
Luka also shouldn't be getting the 6 fouls.
Yeah.
Right.
Being his caliber.
That's the thing.
Right.
Like a good example of what I'm trying to explain is when you don't call the illegal screen set on Neesmith in game 1
Right.
of the conference semifinals.
Understandable.
But you call the illegal screen on Miles Turner. That's kind of what I'm getting
Understandable,
at.
yeah.
If it's so obvious like that and you only call it on one end,
Right.
you're rewarding when you're rewarding one team's physicality and penalizing
Right.
the other, that's when there's a problem.
Right.
And that's why I hate NBA referees.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you're going to blow calls. We know this. But when there's no consistency, like when the makeup calls are as obvious as they are, that's when I have a problem.
All right, well, so going off that logic,
Yeah.
Luka, I feel like the refs almost did a disservice to him during the season when he was getting every single call possible. And then in the playoffs, things changed,
Well,
especially in the finals.
let me counter that. The refs are supposed to call they're supposed to call less fouls in the playoffs because the games are more physical and everything like that. And if you're a superstar in this league, if you're getting MVP shouts, if you're getting best in the world shouts, then you don't need the refs to succeed, right? If you're not getting the calls, you should still be able to be effective and be efficient out there.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, and that's why teams win.
But, foul calls are a huge part of people's games,
But if
especially Luka and SGA, guys like that.
Yeah, but if you're just trying to get to the line, whereas trying to score, then that's where the disparity is. It's one thing where if you get a call, but you're trying to get the bucket. Luka and SGA, they're clearly trying to foul bait themselves to the line. They're trying to get the easy points. So that's where the difference is in that sense. And I feel like that's what Luka's been trying to do. That's why you see in a lot of these 60, 70-point explosions, they go to the line like 20 times.
Right.
So, and I think Luka had a lot of free throws in that 73-point game he had earlier this season. So, but yeah, game 3 was an interesting one. I watched most of it. And yeah, any just other thoughts on game 3? Anything from Boston you saw?
No.
This was the game Kyrie went off, right?
It was,
Yeah.
yeah.
Another thing I would say to that is you have to pass the ball to Kyrie a lot more than you did.
When he's hot.
Yes.
Right.
That's Kyrie's going off right now. But the games prior, he wasn't doing anything. This is his time. Get him the ball, period. We can move on.
It was a swap with Derek White because Derek White played very well, was abysmal in game 3.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, essentially that was game 3. We move into game 4. I'm sorry, Derek White had a bad game 4. He had a good game 3. Moving into game 4, because I had the score up, I got confused. But moving to game 4, very weird, very uncharacteristic. The Mavs won 122-84. They almost 40-balled them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, it's hard to sweep, right? It's hard. Boston had won 10 straight playoff games going into this game as it is. Luka, 29, 5-5 with 3 steals. His defense was a lot better this game, but we'll talk about that more in a bit. Kyrie, 21, 4-6. And granted, a lot of these guys didn't play many minutes because it was a blowout. They had JUCO guys in the fourth quarter, essentially. Tim Hardaway Jr. got some minutes, 15 points.
Yeah. I love it.
Made a few threes. Derek Lively, 11 points, 12 rebounds. Dante Exum played well, 10 points as well. And we move into Boston's end. And I mean, Tatum was minus 33. I think that might have set the record for the worst plus minus in a finals game.
Wow.
He had 15 and 5. Hauser had 14 and 4. Pritchard had 11 and 3. Jaylen Brown only had 10 points. Not great. The Celtics shot 29 of 80 from the field, 14 of 41 from behind the arc, whereas Dallas shot 50% from the field and also struggled from three. 15 to 37 is not great. It's not bad, but it's not like, it's not anything to write home about. And they could have won by 50, but Dallas proceeded to miss 7 free throws in that game as well. Free throws are becoming a major problem here, even when they win. I'm kind of looking at the team stats kind of throughout. You just saw a big shift. Dallas out-rebounded them, especially on the offensive glass. They had 60 points in the paint compared to the Celtics' 26,
Wow.
which is just nuts. They had 7 steals compared to their 2, and still Boston's out-blocking them 5-2, which is that stat. I just enjoy reading that stat every game. I don't know why, but I think blocks are becoming so much more important now.
Yeah.
I think Wemby's kind of reminding us that message.
Yeah.
Because he blocks so many shots. And
It's a
because of
momentum
that-
shifter.
And because of that block debate last year with Jaren Jackson. I think it's still kind of fresh in our mind. But look, I think you asked for a Dallas response. They got it. The Celtics didn't score more than 25 points in any quarter. They scored 14 in the second quarter. Dallas went on a giant-ass run after the Celtics went up like 9-0 to start the game. So I'll go to you first, Antoine. Just your thoughts of Game 4.
I think they just responded well to what Wendy said, and Kid also said pre-game in the locker room to them that he's like, I hope you guys are packed. We're going to Boston for Game 5.
That's right.
Not that they didn't stay. I mean, they did stay in Boston, but they didn't come back to Dallas for Game 6. They did go to Boston. The Kid was right, but then they lost, of course. But Scott Foster was direct for this game, series extender.
Yes, sir.
That's literally what happened. I think Boston probably had some gas out, meaning that they were gassed from winning the first 3 games, and they were due for a stinker, I guess. This was a stinker, but we all knew that Dallas wanted to get at least one game, or Adam Silver wanted one game to not be a sweep.
Yeah.
And that's why Scott Foster was put on for the crew. And then Luka went off. He proved Wendy wrong for that one game. The whole bench came to life, which was good for them, but they needed more than just one game from Exum, Hardaway, and all those guys. But Boston brought it back for Game 5, and then that was it.
Yeah.
I think we just saw good Dallas basketball for that one game, and then just Boston had that stinker, and then we move forward from that.
Yeah. I don't think Scott Foster or Adam Silver had anything to do with this. I don't think it was like a series extender type game. No, this was a straight up blowout. Either the Celtics didn't want to win and they weren't trying. They were trying to win in Boston, which you said, Tyler, before.
Right.
Or the Mavericks just played that much better. It was one of those two.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a series because it's a blowout.
I think it did play a part because you saw the fouls being called in that first half alone. Notice how they didn't call anything in the second half because it was already a 50-point game. But, I mean, the whistle was egregious in Dallas. Dallas had double the free throws of Boston. So,
but were they actually fouls?
They were. The fouls Boston were the fouls that were putting the Mavs at the line. At least half of them weren't.
Okay.
They were a lot of very stupid, soft, phantom fouls.
Ticky-tacky.
And yeah, so like I said, one side was getting rewarded for their physicality, the other side wasn't.
Okay.
So, I was not. This was the most unwatchable game for me, at least, because I was watching a ref show in the first half, and then it was a blowout in itself. Boston just gave up. They just didn't need to. They didn't need to finish that game out.
No.
That's why you saw Sam Hauser after the game said, even if we lose Game 5, it's not the end of the world. So,
What do you think about that?
that
mentality?
I don't like it, and I like it because it's good to stay confident. But then at the end of the day, you don't want to go back to a Game 6. You don't want to have to go back to Dallas.
No.
It's different in the finals because obviously there's no series after the fact. But like, if you're Boston, right, and you were up 3-1, if you were up 3-0 against Indiana, which they were, let's say they lost Game 4 and they lost Game 5, you're going back to Indy for Game 6, a team that had up until they played them and never lost at home. It's a risk, and it's their potential last home game of the season, and it would be for the Mavs. So, they're going to leave it all out there.
Yeah.
You want to win these series as quickly and efficiently as possible.
Yeah.
Because if you're with the Celtics or with the Mavs, it's not about whether the series is entertaining or not. You're just trying to win by any means necessary within the rules of the NBA, obviously. But yeah, I didn't watch the second half, so
nothing from.
couldn't really
Game
tell you
4.
what happened.
I had it on, but I was not watching
Yeah.
it at all.
It was
Not gonna lie.
Game
I saw the
5.
score and I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna watch.
Yeah,
It wasn't.
No.
I mean, the biggest lead Dallas had was 48. The biggest
Wow.
lead Boston had 3.
3.
3 points.
I thought it was 9.
It was 3 points. I think they went up like 9 something.
Okay.
And it said biggest leads. It was with, you know why? Because it was 9. It was with 9 minutes left in the first quarter.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
No. Game 5 was a lot more entertaining, even though it was a blowout.
Yeah. But let's get into Game 5 because
that.
Game 5, obviously not much happened with Game 4. You saw the next day. Oh, is everyone going to come back from a 3-0? I think it's
Nope.
going to happen. You know,
All the
everybody's like-
Mavs fans
all the
changing their
Mavs fans.
backgrounds to Luka with the sunglasses on.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Game 5. It had such good of a chance to be a good game. But at the end of the day, Boston just was it. Because remember last year during Game 5, both teams shot like ass. It
Yeah.
was kind of close up until the end, and Denver just pulled away late. This game, I mean, Boston just kind of pulled away right from the get go. It was a wire-to-wire victory. Dallas had no lead throughout the entirety of that game. Boston won 106-88. And yet it was just domination from the absolute star. We'll start on Dallas's end. Luka had 28 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists, but again, was just abysmal in the fourth quarter, as per usual in this series. I think he shot 33% exactly in the fourth quarter across the entire finals. It's somewhere along those lines. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure when I looked it up after Game 4, it was around that number. Kyrie had an absolute fucking stinker. 15 points, 3 rebounds. He had 9 assists, but also shot 5 of 16 from the field.
That can't happen. Can't happen.
Oh, I thought you said it didn't happen.
No.
Yeah, no,
No.
that definitely cannot happen. Josh Green played decent, 14 points, but at the end of the day,
For him, that's great.
yeah, at the end of the day, no one helped Luka in the first 36 minutes of the game, and no one showed up for Dallas in the fourth quarter. And for Boston, I mean, just total domination. Tatum, 31, 11 assists, 8 rebounds. Jaylen Brown, 21 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. Jrue Holiday, 15 points, 11 boards, and 4 assists. Derek White had 14 and 8. Horford had 9 and 2 with 2 steals. Just overall outstanding.
Yeah.
Everybody on that team is so good.
And some interesting runs, too. Boston had 2 runs where they went up by at least 15 in those runs, 17-4, 18-6. Dallas had a little bit of a push in the third quarter, but Boston quickly extinguished that within 5 minutes. Dallas missed 6 free throws again, which it's been just abysmal all around. Shot 11 of 37 from behind the arc. Boston didn't do much better, 13-39, 1/3 exactly. But they made their free throws, but not that it really mattered. It was a blowout, and just absolutely annihilated them pretty much most of the game, 17-6 in points off turnovers. The Mavs outblocked them for the first time in this series. I don't know why I'm so invested in this stat.
And they lost.
They out-rebounded them 51-35.
Who did?
The Celtics out-rebounded the Mavs 51-35.
Yeah.
Mavs had double the amount of turnovers.
That's the game right there.
Yeah, Mavs also had double the amount of turnovers. So second chance points was pretty close, but the Celtics had more. Free throws were fairly even. Celtics had a 5-7 free throw advantage. And this game not only won the Celtics the series, but they are, obviously, as you guys can tell by the title and the thumbnail, the 2024 NBA champions. They raised banner number 18. They set a new NBA record for the most titles ever. So if we're going based off of total franchises, they have 18. The Lakers have 17. The Warriors have 7. But 5 of those Lakers championships were won in Minneapolis. So some argue the Lakers only have 12, 13 rings.
Nah, they count.
Oh, yeah, they obviously do count. But it's just the Lakers then, not the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah.
So it's crazy how the Warriors are third now. That dynasty set them up.
That's crazy.
It's amazing.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Where are the Spurs?
The Spurs, I think, only have 4 or 5, no?
I'll look that up.
5.
Yeah,
Let me
they only have
fact-
5.
let me
Duncan
fact
alone
check.
has 5.
Yeah. But, yeah, while he looks for that, just in your thoughts, Gio, what did you see from this game specifically? We'll get into the series after the fact.
So from this game, I saw Kyrie shrink. And what I had said before, like a week or two before the series even started, I was saying, if PJ Washington shows up, the Mavs will win. But this was assuming that Kyrie does his thing,
right.
and Luka does his thing, because they had been doing it all playoffs, right?
Yes.
So I'm like, if PJ shows up, Mavs win. And believe it or not, to my surprise, Kyrie all-time shrink fest in the finals. It's not like him. You know, he's known to, he's a riser usually. I guess maybe it was just a very bad matchup for him, which it probably was. Jrue Holiday, Jaylen Brown, Derek White, all these
Boston
great
crowd.
defenders. The Boston crowd.
Yeah.
Like it's a very tough matchup for him, but still I expected him to play up to his level. That didn't happen. And to me, that is the reason why the Mavs didn't win in 7 like I predicted.
Right. Okay, so my stat was wrong because I forgot to add Game 5. Luka shot 47. Oh wait, that's in the NBA Finals. Wait, I need the fourth quarter because I know he shot poorly. The Mavs also
Pretty
shot.
good.
The Mavs shot 68% from the free throw line across the NBA
that's bad.
Finals. That can't happen, but none of the games were really close to begin with. Yeah, I was right. Luka has a field goal percentage of 33.3% in the fourth quarter of the NBA Finals.
What about overall?
Overall, 47.
That's pretty decent.
It's not good enough for Luka Doncic.
Okay.
If you're the best player and your team is not as stacked as Boston is, you need to shoot over 50.
It's very true.
And that's the unfortunate reality. It's not me being delusional.
Or you could just get some help from Kyrie.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say if the Mavericks are only good in winning games is when Kyrie is on point,
Yeah.
and that's when he was the stinker in Game 3. No, Game 3 he
was
had
good in Game
35.
3.
Yeah, Game 3 was just a Luka thing. He should have been on that court the entire game. They probably would have won that game 2-2 going back to.
They were staying in Dallas for another game.
You know what this makes me
No,
think
it would have
about?
been.
It would have been tied.
It would have been 2.
No, it would have been
2.
3-1.
No, 2-2. They won Game 3, Game 4.
Oh, because they won Game 4, yeah.
It would have been 3-2 going Game 6 into Dallas. But yeah, I don't know. If Luka didn't fall out of that game, I think they would have won it.
Yeah.
That's what it comes out. And
I
if
said
Kyrie
the-
needs to be good.
I think they lose a close one. Because, like I said, even though Luka was still in the game, in the fourth quarter, he couldn't buy a shot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you're asking me you expect me to think he's going to make shots in the fourth quarter when he clearly hasn't been throughout the entirety of the
You're
playoffs?
talking about Luka.
Yes. Even if he stayed in the game, I didn't trust him in the fourth quarter in that series. As soon as the third quarter buzzer hit, I thought he was only going to score like 2 or 3 more points unless he went to the line.
Well, it's tough when Kyrie was pretty much the closer the entire playoffs.
Yeah.
Kyrie was the closer. He was the go-to guy in the fourth
He's
quarter.
the fourth quarter, man.
And if Kyrie's not on, then Luka's like, all right, now I have to do something, and he's not. I guess he's not
Exactly, yeah.
really used to.
You
shining in those
said-
moments. And you know
Okay.
what's funny? I'm sorry to bring this up, but man, Luka and Kyrie were going off against the Clippers, and now this makes me really think. If they played how they played in the finals against the Clippers in the first round, Clippers would have been in the finals.
Okay.
That's
stop.
my hot take of the day.
All right.
Clippers would have won.
So,
If the Clippers were healthy, maybe, but
yeah, no.
I still
Kawhi
think I
had
think
to be healthy.
The current
Yes.
state of the Clippers would have been obliterated by the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
Okay, so you said who had 5? You said Spurs have 5?
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah, and I know because I saw the graphic earlier. The Warriors have the third.
Bulls have 6. The Golden State Warriors have 5. The Philadelphia Warriors have 2.
Okay, so we're combining the two
Okay,
rings
combined.
then.
So 7.
So 7. And then Miami has 3 with Detroit.
Yep.
Philly actually has 2. One is the Syracuse Nationals.
Yep.
Milwaukee has 2. Well, 1 according to Tyler because the 2021 one doesn't count.
Yeah, it does not count.
Houston has 2. New York has 2. Denver has 1. Toronto has 1. Cleveland only has 1.
Yeah, that was their first title ever when LeBron came back from 3-1.
That's
That's,
crazy.
why it's the greatest ring in NBA history.
So goaded.
Mavs
So
have
insane.
1. OKC have 1 as the Seattle Supersonics. The Wizards have 1 as the Bullets. The Trailblazers have 1. Hawks have 1 as the St. Louis Hawks.
All right. We don't have to go through the whole NBA.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
And
So I have a question for you, Anthony.
Yeah, go ahead.
How good is Jrue Holiday? Talk to me.
Ooh, yes.
He is the reason why they won that championship.
I need more.
And also, it's Al Horford as well. You want to know why? Because it's Uncle Al.
Uncle.
Can I
Al.
make a take?
Uncle
Yes.
Al.
Can I make a take? I think both Drew Holiday and Al Horford solidified a Hall of Fame spot. In their
Yes. Uncle Al.
I like that.
Uncle Al going into almost 20 years in the NBA was a tank on the Hawks when
Yeah.
it was Josh Smith days.
Yeah.
And goes to a Boston team. He was signed there after he left Atlanta. I think so.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be that 4-5 for them before Porzingis came.
Tingus.
Went to a bench role, just got older, but filled in quite well for a bench piece.
Yeah.
And was, gave him valuable minutes. He got his first ring ever. I think now he definitely is a Hall of Famer. I think he was borderline Hall of Famer before he won the ring.
Are you talking about
Horford?
Al Horford?
Horford.
And
Horford.
also Jrue? Or
No, Jrue already had a ring. I think Jrue already was a Hall of Famer regardless with the one ring.
wow.
Now he definitely is with the second ring because one player has given the Bucks and the Celtics their ring.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's gone all around the league. He was in Philly whenever he's drafted by Philly. He started out there, was younger, went to New Orleans, then went to Milwaukee after New Orleans, right? I think so. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, something
He's
like
been
that.
around.
He's been
all,
around.
All I know is that it feeds into my agenda that another player left Embiid and won a ring.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Who was the other
He
one?
didn't
that
play with
left?
Embiid
Al
though.
Horford. Remember he had a pit stop in Philly a couple years ago.
Oh, yeah,
before
he
going to
did.
OKC and then
He
back
did.
back to Boston.
Okay.
But I think for me, I think, right? I just think obviously it's the basketball Hall of Fame, and I know Al Horford. I believe he won a title in college. So
For Florida.
yeah. So
Yeah.
obviously, I think just combined with everything, the long career he's had, I think he has solidified a spot. And the Boston owners said that he is coming back next season.
Yep.
So there's unfinished business with both of them.
Yeah.
So Jrue Holiday
Right now-
is under contract for the next 3 years. I
That's
think.
scary.
Right now, this is their
Scary
this
good.
is their window. They have another 2 to 3 years. With this window, Tatum's going to resign, White's going to resign, Horford's
Yeah.
going to come back.
Yep.
Everybody's locked up for 4+ years after that.
Yeah.
And they're going to, of course, add depth. I think they need a little more bench help. But the starting five for the rest, I think, for the next 3-4 years is going to be Holiday, White, Tatum, Brown, Porzingis, Horford off the bench probably for 2 more seasons.
They don't even need bench help, bro.
Peyton Pritchard,
They're good.
Hauser, and they're going to draft somebody because they might find it down the road. And also, I don't know if
They
you
don't need
saw,
anyone else.
They held the Celtics front office had a draft workout with all the top prospects the day after they won the championship.
I tweeted,
And all the front office members stayed apparently in the office and didn't sleep at all and just woke up. They didn't wake up, just were up the whole night and got ready for that draft workout.
I
in the
tweeted this
morning.
out earlier because this reminds me of last year when Calvin Booth, the Denver GM, made a trade with the Thunder after going 3-1 up in the final. You can't get more badass than that.
Oh my goodness. Did he actually?
He made a trade right literally the day before game 5. Day before game 5, he made the trade with OKC.
What was that?
They swapped picks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
That
They
is
traded
so
a first for 2 seconds.
He's like, yeah, we won this. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
It was-
go for
bro,
the future.
what I saw- I
What did
will-
that pick end up being?
I wound up being someone. I think it might have been Hunter Tyson.
Denver got a first?
Denver traded a first for I think
seconds.
Denver traded seconds, I think, and selected Hunter Tyson,
Yeah, I
who could
think-
potentially be good in a few years. But to before we'll obviously talk about Finals MVP and stuff, but this recorded clip's gone on for over half an hour, so we'll close.
Oh, wow.
We'll close before we transition into that. I think the last thing we got to say, pour one out for Marcus Smart, man.
Yes.
I feel so bad. He's in the DeRozan spot this year of being the guy they had to sacrifice, and unfortunately, he misses out on a ring. And they were so close
No.
last year, even though I still think they would have lost in the finals anyways. But
You know
it's
what I
always
think?
ifs.
The NBA should put the opening game for the Celtics home against the Grizzlies, and Marcus Smart should get an honorary ring.
No.
Well, it has to be against a same conference team for the ring night.
Okay.
So my presumption, it's either going to be against the Knicks or the Heat
Okay.
in Boston for ring night. So that should be fun. But
All I know is he's not going to get a ring. He wasn't a part of the team.
right, exactly.
And we
He's-
should get
he'll get
something.
a shout out.
He'll get
from
some love.
everyone. Yeah, he'll get some love.
He deserves that ring. He was Boston bled since the beginning.
9 years. I know
Yeah.
it's been
You
a
know,
long
it's
time, but
Very long time with that franchise, but
Drew
unfortunately,
Holiday's the better player.
the game's the game.
Yeah.
The game
He's
is
good.
the game.
Marcus Smart is very good, very
Yeah.
good player. But Drew Holiday
Very good.
is Marcus Smart.
Sometimes you have
But just another level.
Sometimes you have to sacrifice stuff.
Yeah.
You know, why do you think the Raptors traded DeMar DeRozan?
Yeah.
You have to sacrifice your longtime stars.
That's right.
And Kawhi Leonard won them a ring,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they're forever grateful for that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, unlucky for him, unlucky for Brogdon, unlucky for Time Lord. Is what it is. That's life. That's basketball.
Yeah.
But
Quick take, really quick.
yeah,
Drew Holiday is the best clutch defender in NBA history.
There's nothing wrong with that.
that's
I want to
great.
hear what the comments say about that.
That's a good take.
We
And-
can discuss about that later on, but let's get on to the series.
And before we do that, to close, in the 2020s, the only 2 players with multiple rings are Drew Holiday and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope.
No way.
Which is so storybook considering the fact that they do the same thing as a 3-and-D player, and they both won a legit ring on a ridiculously stacked team after winning a fraudulent ring
Wait, so KCP won his on the Bucks?
on the Bubble Lakers.
Fraudulent ring.
On the Lakers.
So both won fraudulent rings and then wound up being the 3-and-D fifth starter on a stacked, complete team. That's crazy, right?
Drew's more than 3-and-D, if you ask me. But
Well, what else? What else does he do?
oh, he could facilitate.
No, but
He does a
I'm
lot.
talking about it at like an elite level. Like they're both elite defenders and elite shooters.
I mean, Jrue puts up more points. This playoffs, he was like 15 points a game.
Yeah.
Pope
Yeah.
was like 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, it depends. But I think in retrospect they
Right.
are very similar. But yeah, let's move into the rest.
Let's do that.
All right. So it's time to look back at the Finals MVP. This guy usually goes down in history, the best player in the NBA Finals. And this one was a little bit more wide open compared to previous years. There wasn't really a standout guy. You were seeing shouts for Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Jrue Holiday, Tingus Pingus after that Game 1 first half performance was unbelievable. Even Luka was getting shouts. I don't know why, but Nick Wright was campaigning that Luka should get the Finals MVP even if they lost the series.
That's
Yes, we're stupid.
atrocious.
That is why he's called Nick Wrong. But at the end of the day, they went for the guy that had the most complete series, the most consistent series, and that was Jaylen Brown. He becomes the third player to win both the Conference Finals MVP and the Finals MVP, and is just added to that list of Celtics Finals MVPs. With Bill Russell and Kevin Garnett and company and all those guys. So, congratulations to him. Just what did you see from Jaylen Brown in that series, and did you think he was the deserving winner?
Yeah, I think he was. I think he deserved it. I feel like he was the best player on offense and on defense.
Even more than Holiday,
Okay, now all right. When it comes to all right, the best complete player, let's say that.
right? Because he was guarding Luka the entire time.
Yeah, so he had a
Yeah.
big task. But
Yes,
yeah, I think he deserved it over Tatum, even though it's hard to say.
right.
Tatum didn't have the greatest playoffs this year. We've seen Tatum play so much better than he has, and still was in the runnings to get the playoff Finals MVP.
Yeah,
But yeah, I feel like they were game planning against Brown, and even Jason Kidd said himself, Brown is the best player on the court.
right.
So it's like, take it from the coach. This is his job. He's played in the NBA. He's a Hall of Famer. Take it from him. So yeah.
What do you think, Antoine?
I think Brown definitely deserved the conference one. I think Finals was a little more tug of war with these two. I think Tatum did phenomenal in the games they won. Brown just was more the consistent one. Just both ends of the court. I think the voting was 7-4 for Brown.
Yeah,
Fairly close. It would have been 6-5 if one swapped the other, but 7-4 I think is still fairly close.
right.
So I think Malika voted for Tatum. Bontemps had Brown.
Yeah.
It was like ESPN was kind of torn both ways for those guys that were there. But
Wait, Malika gets a vote?
Somehow, yeah.
Malika got a because she's the
Wow.
crew. It's the crew that's there. Even an Italian writer got a vote for Gazzetta dello Sport.
They give it to a random European
Yeah,
reporter every
one
year.
of the
Wow.
Italian writers, and he voted for Brown.
He was the deserving guy to
Yeah.
me at least. I thought even though Tatum had the stat sheet down, so I have a stat for y'all. He is the first player ever in NBA history to lead an NBA champion in playoff scoring, rebound, and assist, and not win Finals MVP. The other 5 players to do it: Larry Bird, Hakeem Olajuwon, Tim Duncan, LeBron James 3 times, and most recently Nikola Jokic last year. All 5 of those players won Finals MVP. And Tatum is the first one to not win Finals MVP.
Wow.
But, Brown just was more impactful. He had the more consistent series on both ends of the floor. There were games where Tatum was shooting Hall of Fame tour dates.
Yeah.
So at the end of the
Yeah.
day, it is what it is.
Are we just saying that Brown deserved it because we expect more from Tatum and he didn't give it to us? And so we're saying, since Tatum didn't play up to our expectation, now Brown is going to get the MVP. Is that what we're saying?
I think it's a mix of both because, yes, Tatum is capable of playing better, but this was the best basketball I've ever seen Jaylen Brown play. And it was so good in the sense that I think in the series he was the best player.
Wow.
Yeah. Also, it helps that both trophies that Brown won are named after Celtics players.
Right.
You got the Larry Bird Eastern Conference and the Bill Russell MVP award.
Right.
So he's a nice trophy cabinet
Exactly, yeah.
for all that stuff.
And even when he got the award, the first person he shouted at was Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those two, that's why I called them, literally a few episodes ago, I called them 0.5 options. Because there's no clear number one option. It's not a 1A, 1B.
No.
They're both even.
Yeah.
And I do think I can't differentiate. There's just, when one's good, they're the best player in the team. Some days it's someone else. But I do think they're both so evenly matched that together combined, they're a number one option.
Yes.
And I think they're almost impossible to stop for, I would say, about 95% of the NBA.
Yeah.
So that's at least to me. I don't know if you guys disagree or
I
not.
do disagree with that.
No.
Right.
I think
No.
I think that duo was a 1A, 1B with Tatum being the A.
Okay.
I
Even
think
though the B is a Finals MVP?
It flip flops.
Huh?
Even though the B is a Finals MVP,
Yeah,
No,
I mean,
it
we've seen
flip-flops.
Iguodala get MVP, and he's not even.
he's not even a one option.
Exactly.
But I do think both of them are so even.
Yeah. I think it's flip flops
Seems
either
sad.
way.
Yeah, I do think both of them now, I think, have solidified a spot in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As for currently right now in the NBA, right, if we're looking at right now, where do Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Luka Doncic rank amongst the NBA right now before we get into our predictions recap?
They're all top 10.
They're all top 10. That's
They're all
easy.
top 10.
All top 10, but where do you put them in the top 10 is the question.
All right, let's list out top 5 right now.
Top 5, you first.
Jokic.
Jokic.
Yep, Jokic.
Wait, let's all.
Do it one at a time. So
Yeah.
you
I'll
go
go.
first. Yeah.
One is Jokic.
I'll go. So Jokic, Luka,
Okay.
Tatum,
Ooh.
Brown.
Okay.
SGA or Ant.
I think I'll go Ant. 5.
Okay.
I would
For now.
I would flip flop
For
Brown and
now,
Tatum.
I can't.
Go.
I don't know if I could. I can't put all three of them in the top 5.
I would
I
flip
think I
flop
would.
Brown and
I
Tatum.
would only put Luka in the top 5.
Okay.
So I would go Jokic, Luka. I'd still put Giannis up there.
Okay.
I would probably also put in. I'd probably also put in SGA
Wow.
and probably Anthony Edwards 5th. I'm still unsure. I'm probably forgetting someone. It's hard to do it on the spot so quickly.
Wemby, LeBron,
Not even
Bro.
close.
Paul
What?
George, Kawhi,
Not even close.
Not Wemby.
Hallie.
Nah. I think it is those 5.
Yeah, it's just those.
I would probably put Brown and Tatum like 6th,
After.
6th and 7th, or 6th and 8th,
Okay.
somewhere along those lines.
Fair.
I think I would do Jokic, Embiid now.
Nah.
Next year probably.
Yeah.
I think Jokic, Luka, Jalen, Tatum,
Jaylen Brown.
Jalen Brown.
Yeah.
I think Tatum, Giannis, and then Ant.
It's tough. I would probably
Yeah.
put. I would probably move either Tatum or Brown into the top 5 instead of Anthony Edwards or SGA.
Okay.
It's just hard to tell.
I
'cause
don't think SGA's top 5 yet.
Me
I don't.
neither.
Yeah, I try not
No.
to. I try not to let recency bias kind of cloud my mind.
We gotta wait.
Yeah,
for that.
I let it cloud my mind.
I think.
I'm like, you guys been this far. You guys deserve it.
Yeah, fair.
yeah.
But yeah, essentially that's what it is. I think the general consensus that Luka's still a top 3 player in the league.
Yeah.
Tatum and Brown are top 5, 6, 7, somewhere along those lines. I think that's fair. And in September or October, we'll react to the ESPN top 100 list, and that should be very controversial. And maybe
Yes,
we can make our top 25 list if we want.
Yeah.
That could be pretty cool.
I can't
like
do it.
that.
I can't do it.
No, I'm not doing 100, but I'll do
That's
top
so
25.
much
Yeah,
time.
I think
for
that's totally fair.
For sure.
But it's time for Tyler to take his victory lap because we're going to look back at our finals predictions from this series. So we'll start off on that end of the screen. Both of them predicted the Dallas Mavericks in 7 games and also predicted a Luka Doncic Finals MVP. This guy right here, I'm not one to brag a lot, but I do want to take my moment because I am on the record saying this on camera and it is all over the internet that I predicted Celtics in 6. So I was technically wrong, but I was right that the Celtics won the title. And your boy picked Jaylen Brown to win Finals MVP. So
When I meant Mavs in 7, I really meant Celtics in 5.
then why didn't you say it?
I just wanted to think outside the box.
You know, I have a similar story.
I think in my gut, I knew Celtics were winning, but I just wanted to see a Cinderella story happen.
Me too.
Like, that's just different, but I knew Celtics and I knew Brown was going to win MVP.
Listen,
I
man,
just
see,
wanted
I knew he would
outside
say
the
that because he
box.
loves to go back on his initial predictions. So I knew the switch up is nuts.
No, I still.
What if I told you?
So
What if I told you that I am a secret Celtics fan? And if I rooted, no, listen to my point now.
Okay.
If I rooted for the Celtics, they would have lost. I'm telling you right now.
That's true.
This whole time, I've been a Celtics fan. I'm telling you right now.
no, I think it would have
I-
been fun for us to see. I'm sorry to cut you.
You're good.
Go
Keep
ahead.
going.
Go ahead. It would have been fun, but I was just like, I want to say Mavs just to make it fun and not have Celtics.
He would not be saying that if the Mavs won the series. I know that.
Oh yes, I would. Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you, but it's.
Yeah.
Look, y'all pick Mavs. You just gotta swallow your L. And
I think it'll be Mavs. It'll be Mavs in 7 in next year, 2 years from now.
No, wait, I have a quick question actually.
However, though, you did root for the Mavs and they lost. So
Yeah.
the same. But what was your question?
So the quick question is this Mavericks core, because you just brought up they'll be back next year, and I'm not too sure about that.
They need to.
What-
I know exactly what they.
Well, let
need
him
to
ask the
do.
question.
Ask the question, but I know exactly what they need to do.
Do you think we'll see this Mavericks core that they have right now get another chance at going back to the finals?
No,
They'll get another chance, but they
No.
won't go back to the finals.
no.
Okay. How long do they have together?
The only players that are going to be back are Luka, Kyrie, Lively. I think Gaff and Washington are free agents.
Yeah, probably they traded for them.
What about PJ?
PJ's gonna resign.
I think Gaff goes. I think Lively takes that 5th spot. I think Derek Jones is going to go back to the bench. They're going to bring in another scorer. And that's going to be a trade market piece.
This next season is the last because in 2025-26 will be Kyrie's expiring year. And I imagine they do trade him, whether it's in the offseason or at the deadline, because he only signed a 3-year deal.
Yeah.
I don't expect him to move on now because Kyrie's value is still quite low. I know the Lakers will still be heavily involved trying to get him, but the Mavs are not. The Lakers have nothing to trade. They have a 2032 first-round pick that they're going to get open to them in the next couple of months.
You know what would be a good piece for them? Laurie Markkinen.
I don't see the fit there with Lowry. I think he fits more with an OKC or a San Antonio.
Because I don't see a Colin
'cause he's
Sexton.
white?
No,
It's a big body.
Because he's European, like Luka.
he's not
Yeah,
as.
he's not European. He went to college here in U.S.
But
He's from Finland. He's born and raised.
Yeah, but no,
Yeah.
I just see they need big bodies.
Yeah, but I don't think he's the right guy. They need a defensive-minded guy.
Yeah.
Jared
I
Allen.
think. Jared Allen could be a guy, but I mean, he's just going to eat the Lively minutes. It's just not worth it. The
No.
Mavs need to trade for a small forward.
Small forward.
A small forward is what they are desperate for. And honestly, Kyle Kuzma would be a beautiful
Wow.
fit. Andrew Wiggins would be a beautiful
Wow.
fit.
Yeah. Not Tobias Harris.
He's a
Okay.
power forward.
Okay, you
Yeah.
can play
No,
both.
yeah.
I think Kuzma and
Wiggins.
Wiggins, either or.
I love it.
Either or. And we're not going to mention the scumbag in Charlotte because
Oh, Miles
I know,
Bridges.
yeah, I know the Mavs had inquired, but no, it does not need to happen. But to be honest, I think this was the only chance the Mavs had with this squad. I don't think you got in the sense of, unfortunately, you did have to play Boston, but Kawhi got hurt, Denver got bounced, and Minnesota was exhausted. I think that was their only shot. It was now or never. I'm not saying Luka can't win a ring with Dallas. I think he will at some point in his career. Remember, he's not even in his prime yet. But with this squad, with Kyrie and with PJ and all those guys, I don't think they can do it. I think they're going to try and salvage whatever they can. If they make a playoff run again, then congratulations to them. But I can't see this team competing next season.
Yeah, I agree.
I just think you're going to get a rejuvenated Denver. I think Minnesota's going to have a chip on their shoulder. I don't even know what's going to happen with the Clippers. OKC is going to be more experienced. And even if they get back to the finals, I just still don't think they're going to be better than Boston. Or even if a team like Indiana or Philly goes through, I can't see it happening.
Everybody's going to add pieces that were eliminated before the Mavs, which is Minnesota, Denver, OKC.
Well, not necessarily. OKC definitely, but Denver and Minnesota are strapped by the CBA.
Yeah.
Salary cap's got them tied down.
Yeah.
They only have a few tradable contracts they can get off of. And that's where Minnesota might have to move Cat. Denver
Yeah.
might have to move off Michael Porter Jr. not next year, but the year after. So it's a little bit more tough. I think each team only has like $15 million in trade value they can get,
Yeah.
essentially, and they have to trade like for like if you're over the first or second apron. So OKC is a team I definitely see making a big splash at the deadline. Sam Presti's got to start laying off those picks because you got to compete now. I mean, SGA's going to be 27 or 28 next year. He's in his prime. He's
Yep.
reached it.
Yep.
So it's time for him to start doing something. And we saw a leap this year. But as for Dallas, I don't know, man. I think, like I said, it takes a group effort, and especially Luka changing up his mindset and body language on the floor. I think that's very important.
Yeah, I have to see who they add. They need depth. because Boston seriously outweighed them with that.
Yes.
We'll
Boston's
see
also
it-
a super team, if
yeah.
we're being
Oh
honest.
yeah.
We'll have to see what they do. Kids back there, of course, with the coaching extension. We'll see what they add. Who leaves, who goes, who leaves, who comes.
Right.
We'll see what
Pause.
they do. Yes, pause.
Pause.
Who leaves, who comes in. That's better.
Yeah.
You know, what they do with the young guys. They still have some other draft picks coming up. Besides Lively, I think.
Yeah.
They had another first-round pick that didn't play. I think Olivier Max.
Max. He's probably got the best name in the NBA. Olivier Maxence Prosper. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't play him
Prosper
much,
is his name.
Prosper's his last name.
I love
name.
that.
Yeah. He was like a late first, second round
Late
pick. So
first.
he's gonna be a development guy. Not sure if he sees the floor.
Yeah.
But I want to close. We'll just close with just general thoughts, recaps on just the NBA playoffs and the NBA season as a whole. I personally think this playoffs was left a lot to be desired. Was not a
Yes.
big fan. Did correctly call the Pacers to the conference finals. Obviously, I know when we did our playoff predictions video, I had them losing in round 2, but that's because the play-in didn't finish the way it did. So I redid my bracket. It's on my Twitter. You guys can go see it for yourself. I did have the Pacers losing to Boston in the conference finals. Outside of that, I had Dallas losing in round 1. So unlike some people, I'll hold my hands up and say I was wrong, and I'll move on from that. But
I was not wrong. No, I was wrong.
yeah, what did you guys
both
think?
I'm pretty sure I got every single prediction wrong.
I think I was
I'm
wrong.
trying to think. You had the Clippers winning. You did have Minnesota beating Denver, though.
Okay.
I don't even know. What did
That
I
might
have?
be my sole W.
That's your
What
sole
did I
W.
have?
Maybe the Knicks also winning the first round.
You also had the Knicks going to the finals.
I did.
I
Wait,
did.
what
I did
did
have
I
the Knicks
have?
losing to the Pacers, though,
Yeah.
I didn't have that.
because I originally had the Heat beating the Knicks, but the Knicks wound up playing Philly. But I knew Philly
Did I have?
wasn't.
I had
up yet.
Celtics going all the way to the final.
You
Yeah,
had
you
Cel-
did.
you had
You did.
Celtics over. You had Celtics losing to Denver.
Yes.
Who did I? So I had Knicks versus Clippers.
You had a second
right.
and a first round.
This is
exit, walk and
really
go
bad.
far.
Really bad.
Yeah.
Look, next year I'll be better.
Next year you will be
We'll
better.
I'll
see.
be better next.
I think next year we should add either a prize or a forfeit to our
Yeah,
I like it.
predictions. Yeah,
I like it.
Get
And-
sprayed by the hose.
Get sprayed by the hose. Yeah. Although to be honest, in the summer in June, it's kind of a reward. At that
Yeah,
point.
it is a.
Oof, in the winter.
Oh no!
Yeah.
You know what we'll do? On a hot day, my neighbor has a hot tub. Like we could just ask him if we find the hottest day of the summer for the 450 for you to go sit in a hot
Bro,
tub for
let-
10 minutes.
What do you want us to have a heat stroke or
Listen,
something?
bro.
Like,
I've been in hot tubs in the summer. I enjoy it. I will
What?
gladly. I will
Alright, you're
gladly
crazy.
throw a prediction to do it.
Yeah.
Because when
You're
you get out,
crazy.
you're cold.
Yeah.
yeah, but while you're in there with the sun,
Still feels good. It's. I don't find it as trying to warm up. It's therapeutic.
interesting.
My
That's
neighbor has
correct.
my neighbor has a pool. We can do like a pool before we just hop over the fence.
That
Or
would
we
be
just
fire.
put
I'm
in
for that.
Or we just put in $20 each, and whoever wins gets the
Or
$60.
we could do that.
Yeah.
We could
Get
do
to
that.
what?
Gets the $60, or do like a shot, or the loser gets like a shot of hot sauce or something. We could figure something out. But
Yeah.
just know, every year before the playoffs, we'll do our predictions, and one of our episodes will go out like a day or two after next season starts of our full predictions. So we're going to predict our awards and everything like that, and then we'll predict who's going to go to the conference finals, NBA finals, and we'll look back on those this time next season. So that should be very fun. So any final thoughts on the NBA season, ladies and gentlemen?
No, sir.
All right, let's move on. All right, into the final segment. At some point, we'll get like a nice, cool logo and an intro and like a transition for this. But it's time for shower thoughts. NBA shower thoughts, basketball shower thoughts. I think we'll call it basketball. Well, I don't know what we want to call it.
Hitting the shower.
No,
What?
Hitting the shower.
bro.
Hitting the shower.
I can't wait till like if we ever get like really big. There's going to be so many compilations of him being sus or like Antoine.
We're
Paul
hitting the
moments.
shower with the. Never mind.
Okay, yeah. Anyways, welcome to Shower Thoughts. This is the segment where we ask a very prominent question that really gets us thinking. It really involves your brain, causes some intense thinking, causes some debate, it causes some devil's advocate and whatnot. We'll have a cool little slogan for this segment at some point. But
Hitting the shower.
okay. Anyways, Gio, it is your turn this week to ask this week's Shower Thoughts question.
Okay.
So, Gio, get that nozzle turned on, pause.
go.
And what is the question?
First of all, I just want to say we're taking a cold shower today.
I was
Okay.
gonna say that.
Let's get a little uncomfortable.
All right.
A little uncomfortable, okay?
All right. I hope it's NBA basketball.
No,
related.
it'll be fun.
Okay.
It's going to be NBA basketball related.
I'm ready for this.
It's going to be fun. and I hope it causes some debate between you two and even myself.
Yeah,
okay?
I need debate. We need debate for this segment. So
Okay, ready?
What you got?
Will Russell Westbrook, James Harden, or Chris Paul ever win a championship? Okay, that's question number one. If so, who will win, who won't, and why?
I'll let you start that off.
Holy shit. Will Russell Westbrook.
So the
James
players are
Harden,
Russ, James Harden, and Chris Paul.
Paul.
Will they ever win a championship? If so, who will win first, and why?
We have to pick one of them.
No, you don't have to.
Okay.
I think Chris Paul and Russ have the better shot. I think Harden's locked at the clip. Ooh.
Remember,
Clippers
it's not a
will win.
shot. It's who will win. Will they
Who
win?
will win?
This is a definite.
Oh my god.
It's very tough.
I think all three will win eventually.
Wow.
Wow. Well, we're gonna get some debates up in here. Yes.
Let's go.
I think
Let's go.
all
The
three.
shower is turning hot.
I think all three are gonna win eventually.
Okay.
I don't know with what team, but they're all gonna win. I think the ones that are gonna win sooner, of course, Chris Paul and Russ are at the end of their careers.
Okay.
I think Harden has a few good years left, but I think they're all gonna win.
Okay.
I think they're gonna
we
win
get-
at least one.
Could we at least get like a team or a reason?
I think
or-
Chris Paul signs with. I think Russ and Chris Paul sign a vet minimum deal with either of the contenders in the next few years, which is Boston, Denver, Minnesota, OKC, Philly, possibly if they make the jump. I think Harden could win in LA if he stays there long term, and they bring in and Kawhi stays healthy, and they bring in another piece that's not Paul George.
it's a lot of ifs, man.
It's a lot of ifs.
It's a whole
lot
lot
of
of
ifs.
ifs.
But I think all three, they're going to get one. They're not
Hey,
getting
they deserve
multiple.
it, right?
Deserve it.
They're not
Yeah.
getting multiple. They're getting one.
So they are getting one.
They're getting one.
Wow,
That's
Anthony.
it's hard to win in the NBA.
They're getting
Yeah.
So the shower is probably turning really hot.
Yeah.
Because I think none of them
Yeah.
are going to win rings. I think
Okay.
they're all going to retire with the same amount of rings as you, me, Antoine, all of you watching that have made the NBA. But I do think they'll all retire with none. Because I think we've kind of seen the full spectrum with all three of them. More to the fact that Chris Paul and James Harden can't stay healthy. So whether they're a main option or not on their team, I don't think they can sustain a full playoff run
Right.
healthy. I don't think Harden's mentality is right still.
Okay.
He's still looking for the bag, so he'll never sign a vet minimum. But I do think
No, not
that-
him. The other two will.
Yeah, no, but I do think Harden is too worried about the bag. His mentality is in the drain. He'd rather go to strip clubs and eat honey buns all day. And for Russell Westbrook, I just don't think.
Excuse me, say that again.
What?
You said Russell Westbrook?
I said Westbrook.
Okay, thank you.
I'll say Westbrook if you want.
Okay, thank you.
Anyways, for Russell Westbrook, I just don't think he'll wind up on the team that wins. I think he's going to he'll have a lot of championship winning plays. A bug just flew on me. Got his ass. It was
Nice.
an ant just crawling up my leg.
Lit.
Very cool. But
He'll have a lot of championship. What?
he'll have a lot of championship plays. I just don't
Plays.
think he'll be on the team that hoists Larry O'Brien at the end of the season. And honestly, we got to congratulate Chris Paul. He's now 3 years sober from the NBA Finals after saying he was addicted to playing in the NBA Finals. So I think Chris Paul has been cursed, essentially. I don't think bro will ever sniff a finals again in his career.
Wow.
Because I just, where's he going to go?
Yeah.
Like Boston and Denver don't need him, and I do think they're the two most likely
Denver?
teams to get back. Denver does not need a backup point guard.
It's I don't know. I'm keeping hope for people.
If he
for
signs a
signing
vet
vet
minimum?
minimum somewhere.
If he signs a
Denver-
vet minimum, I just don't. Why would you? If you have injury concerns with Jamal Murray as it is, why are you going to sign a backup point guard that's just as injury prone, if not worse? That's kind of that's at least my mentality with that. I do think Denver's probably in the market for a point guard, but I think they're trying to buy low.
Okay.
Like,
I think the most logical one to win is Harden because he has more time.
does he?
They're all around. I mean, Harden's the younger out of the
I
three.
think out of the three.
Yeah, but I don't know.
And he's already on a team that could contend.
Well, we don't know that.
Well,
we don't know what
yes.
the Clippers look like next season.
Yes.
Kawhi is
Because without
not looking
Kawhi,
healthy.
they're like a play-in team.
Yeah.
For being honest.
Yeah.
So we saw the holes in both rosters for that matter. I just can't see it happening. One of them will have to ring chase. And
I think they
That's
all
what they're
find,
already doing.
yeah.
I think they all find a way. Somehow. I don't know what team it's going to be with, but they'll find a way.
How many more years do you think they have left in the NBA?
I think Russ and CP have a couple to a few, which is 2 to 3.
So in 2 to 3 years, you think they're going to find a
And then I think Harden has probably 5 or 6.
Okay.
I think I think Chris Paul's got 3 years max.
Yeah.
Russ has got about 5.
Okay.
Really?
That's a lot.
I do think it's a lot, but remember, he's not in a prominent role anymore.
No.
Right.
I think he'll just
And he's
kinda
willing
chill
to take
out.
his
Yes. Harden, I
backs.
do think has at least another 6-7 years left in his
Yeah.
career. At the top of their game, I think Harden's maybe got 2 years left.
He's not even at the top of his game.
Well, you know what I mean.
Right.
Kind of like he's at the
When
tail end of his
when he
prime.
had his Houston days,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
those are when he was good.
Right.
And keep in mind, Harden should already have a ring right now. But
Which who?
Which one?
Well, he ran into the Dynasty Warriors a shit ton of times. And
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
That historically bad 3-point shooting
exactly.
game.
And
Unfortunate.
and if Giannis didn't take out Kyrie,
Yeah.
we easily win the title that year. I think everyone kind
Yeah.
of knows that.
Yeah.
And that's just super unfortunate. But it is what it is. His actions after the fact are inexcusable, and that's why I have no respect for him anymore.
Yeah.
But
Giannis?
Giannis and Harden, because Harden literally was throwing games to get
Yes.
traded.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, that is what it is.
Really quick, Tyler, if
Yeah.
you had to pick, because I know you said none of the 3 players, right?
Correct.
But if you had to pick, who would you pick to win out of those 3?
I would actually pick Russell Westbrook.
Oh, okay.
Because I just think he's going to he's the only one I see taking a vet minimum, and he's the only one I see actually going to a good team. Because I just can't see Chris Paul contributing to a championship team at 58 years old. I just can't. And James Harden again. I don't respect Harden like that anymore. And he doesn't make winning plays like
Right.
that. He does a lot of loser stuff off the floor. So I think Russell Westbrook is the only guy that's mentally locked in and actually committed to try to win a championship.
Let's go.
It pains me to say that, but it's
Oh.
true. No, just kidding.
Okay.
No,
Let me ask a follow-up question, all right?
go ahead.
Go for
So
it.
what are some qualities, really quickly, that make up
Ooh.
a championship player?
You just repeat that because I talked over you. I'm sorry.
What are some qualities that make up a championship player? And who are the players that have those qualities, and who are the players that don't have those qualities?
Oh, my God.
You want to go first, or
You should have saved that for a whole nother day.
nah? This actually ties in very well.
It does.
And the segment's not long enough yet, so
What? Well, are we talking about players who already have won or have not won?
he's asking for the
Qualities of a championship player. Like, what are some attributes that a championship player has?
Right.
Whether it's mental, whether it's physical, whatever it might be, in your view.
Ooh. Well, of course, physical. They have to be not injury prone to play
Okay.
to win.
So
of
in shape.
course, in
Very
shape.
good.
Of course, you can't be a Kawhi and not. You're not. Well, if you're Kawhi and the Raptors are going to win.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're Kawhi and the Clippers, I don't think you're going to win.
Well, Kawhi and the Raptors was healthy.
Yeah, exactly. Mentality, definitely. You got to be determined. You got to be gritty, not to dance. But you got to be like the Grimace Mets.
I don't get
Right
that
now.
reference.
Yeah.
No, just not have someone throw out a first pitch and now you win. But no, not like that. There's a lot. Just you got to be Jokic, I think, in the head.
Okay, so
You have to
he's
be-
one
Just-
player.
you gotta
You have to be
you-
Serbian. Got it.
You have to be a team player. You have to
7'2".
7'2".
6'11".
I don't know.
6'11".
What
Yeah.
else do you have to add for attributes?
I have a
for
lot to add,
championship?
actually.
Go
Let's
ahead.
hear it.
So I'm kind of quoting LeBron because he said this on the first episode of his podcast, but you gotta there's a lot of that goes into it. A lot hands on, hands off. Like you gotta know the game, know the history of the game, know the ones that came before
Wow.
you. You adapt your play style, stuff like that. You need to be able to be physically fit. I think we all know that. Being in shape, being healthy is too vague of a statement. You need to be strong enough mentally, physically. You need to have the endurance, the stamina to play through all those playoff games. As for mentality, you need to put your body on the line. You need to dive for loose balls. You need, like I'm sure Russell Westbrook would dive for all those loose balls, like Aaron Gordon, having that dog in you, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Embracing the big moments, not shrinking under the lights, I think is also very important
Yeah.
because when the game goes into its clutch time, that's what separates good from great players. But I
Yeah.
think the biggest thing, for me at least, is basketball IQ. I think IQ is single-handedly the most important thing any player can have for a championship, because like LeBron said, once you get to the conference finals and the finals, basketball IQ really kicks in. And there are certain moments in games that not even your coach can prepare you for. No one can prepare you for. You need to make those adjustments on the fly. And if you have good basketball IQ, like we saw last season with Nikola Jokic, and like we saw seasons past with LeBron and with Steph and KD and all those guys, basketball IQ is what carries you through. And if you're generating offense, if you're running the entire sequence, that's what's most important to me, at least, because you need to be the guy, like a quarterback almost. You need everything, and I think vision ties into that as well. Vision. JJ Redick calls it court mapping, I think. And look, when you know your players and you know chemistry, right? When you know someone's going to be in the corner, you can throw that ball to the corner without even looking.
And before they're even there.
Exactly. Why do you think there's a lot of times you'll see a turnover, a guy's in the corner, he starts running out towards the wing, he throws it out of bounds to the corner.
Right.
You know, those last second movements can be fatal in a playoff game. So I think all of that is quite important as far as that goes. And then, look, I think it's just being mentally tough. I think if like I said, you can't shrink in high intensity moments, even just in life in general. Why do you think a lot of job applications say, must be willing to work under time crunches and meet certain deadlines? If you can't do that, then you're not fit for the job. I think the same applies to the NBA. I know a lot of times we put these guys on different stratospheres. At the end of the day, they're human beings that are employees doing their jobs, just at a much more stressful level. But at the end of the day, you still need that same sort of mentality.
Yeah.
And the second part of your question was what? Like, who has?
Yeah, like who are some players that have it
and don't?
And who are some that don't have it?
I think we did see.
And players that haven't won, right?
Right, players that haven't won.
Yeah.
I think we have definitely seen all of the good from Victor Wembanyama so far.
Okay.
I think we've definitely seen all of it. I think we've seen the same from Chet as well. We've seen both of them really take care of their bodies and really put their bodies on the line. And you're seeing the IQ kind of show. I think we're also seeing a lack of mental toughness from Luka Doncic, from Joel Embiid. And even guys that have won have still shown that, like Giannis.
Yeah.
You're still seeing the shrinkage. And that's it's a little worrisome, right? When you kind of see that, obviously there are guys that, whether they're all-stars or not, like you see Mikal Bridges and Kevon Looney are just Iron Men. They don't get hurt. So I think you definitely see a lot of it from across the board, across the spectrum, from guys that are stars, guys that aren't bench players, starters, stuff like that.
I think. So you said mental toughness. I agree with that, but I'm going to take it another level.
Okay.
And I'm going to say you need to be a little bit sick in the head. You have to be a little sick. Like you have to like pain. You have to love pain. You have to embrace pain, because winners, to me, they win in the off season.
Right.
So, like, for example, I'm going to bring up probably the greatest winner in recent times, Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
In the off season, he would go through the most painful, excruciating workouts. And not only did that put him in the best shape out of everyone in the NBA, but it made his mind. It put his mind in shape, because when you're working out like that, it's brutal to your body, but it's also brutal to your mind.
Right.
And so if he's in that type of shape mentally, physically, you have no competition.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And so you have to be sick in the head. You got to be a little insane to have it.
Have you seen that meme, Antoine, of Trent, where it's like, when there is delusion, there is hope? That's essentially what it is. And
No,
why do you think I love Jokic so much?
Yeah.
In the off season, all we see is him partying in Serbia. He's lifting every day.
Yeah.
There was actually a clip. He was playing basketball the other day in Serbia. He was playing 3-on-3 in the park.
Did you see the video of him in the club too?
Yeah.
He's funny.
And even like he lifts after every game, like most teams do. But I think that's obviously a big part of it.
Yeah.
And it really just going the extra miles. And like LeBron said, sometimes you have to sacrifice loved ones in order to be great. It's like missing, some family time, unfortunately, or not going out with friends or anything of that nature. Sometimes you need to put the hours in.
Yeah,
that's another reason why you would be a little sick if you're not spending time with your loved ones.
Did you ever see when Kobe passed? J-Will was on ESPN, and I forgot who was interviewing him, but I don't know. I think J-Will was playing against Kobe. So I think they were at the Staples Center when it was a Staples Center, and when he got to the arena, like really early, regardless, Kobe was already out shooting.
Yeah.
And he just sat there, he said, and he was just watching Kobe shoot. And once he got up to shoot, and and was done with his workout, Kobe was still shooting
Yeah.
after he was done, and he went to the locker room. So he came back out, I think after his shower, and Kobe was still shooting. And it's on you can find this video. It's on
Yeah, it's
YouTube.
somewhere.
And Jrue went up to Kobe. He's like, "What the fuck is this guy on?"
Wow.
He went up to him and he's like, "Kobe, he's like, you've been out here before I got you here, and I just took a shower and you're still out." He's like, "Why are you doing this?" He's like, "Because he said, I will work just as much as you, if not harder, because I want to be better than you." Something along those
Something
lines.
like
Yeah,
that.
something along.
He
those
says, I'm gonna work as much as you, but more, or I'm gonna work twice as much as you work in a day
Right.
to get better at this game.
Right.
Right.
And J was like, that stuck with me ever since I met Kobe for the first time, and I ran with it. And Kobe showed it on the court.
Right.
Can I add one more thing to kind
Please.
of close? Because there is one more thing that really can separate it, and that's the chip on the shoulder.
Yeah.
And we just saw this year's Finals MVP have that with Jaylen Brown. Going all the way back even to before he got drafted, remember the tweet?
Yeah.
When he said, "My teacher said she'll look me up in the Cobb
Yes.
County jail."
Yes.
And even not only did he
Yep.
prove her wrong and make the NBA, we saw last season, my God, he was abysmal in the conference finals.
Yeah.
Could not dribble with either hand.
Yeah.
Just got pickpocketed by Gabe Vincent and Max Strus and Jimmy Butler all night. We saw him right after that sign the most expensive contract in NBA
Wow.
history, making $305 to $307 million
Yeah.
to a guy that couldn't dribble with his left hand. And look at him now. Put the work in and just proved everyone wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's also important because guys that win, they're born, obviously not made, but obviously you don't realize that until later on sometimes, you know? There are guys like Michael Jordan and LeBron James who were great right away.
Right.
But there are guys like Jaylen Brown who, had to struggle. And, I think that's what's part of growth, where you need to get knocked down a few
Yeah.
pegs to kind of get yourself back up.
Yeah.
And I think that's where stuff's important. That's why I think Boston and Denver specifically are built like San Antonio, because they experienced the failures and the playoff pain. Now look at them. They've been two of the most dominant champions we've seen since the Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah. Wow. I'm 100% agree.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So, any final thoughts on this edition of Shower Thoughts?
No.
No?
Well,
Well,
they're a really interesting question. I was not expecting.
yeah, I was not expecting. I like it.
I like that question. Yeah.
So next week it will probably be me doing the question. At some point we might get some people to record themselves asking us questions and we can react to
Awesome.
them. That would be cool.
Or we can just put it out on Twitter and have people comment under the post.
That's true.
Or just say, "What's the shower thought question?"
Yeah,
something
true.
like
We need
that.
to
Yeah.
Or on Instagram. Either
Yeah.
or.
I'm sure we'll do another round of us three for the next 3 episodes before we get
Yeah.
some people on. But
Yeah.
But yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, with that brings us to the end of episode number 10 of the Floor Spacer podcast. And before we get into the comment of the week, I actually forgot to mention something with the Boston Celtics. In this entire playoff run, they were 0-0 in game 6s and 7s.
Wait, say that one more time. They were what?
They were 0-0 in game 6s and 7s combined.
Wow.
That means they didn't make it to a game 6
They were
or a 7.
They were 3-0 in every game 5 they played.
Wow.
Impressive. 16-3. Path was easy, yes, but you play who's in front of you. But now,
Exactly.
Crazy.
as per usual, Gio, it is your turn, or not your turn, but it is your choice for the word for the comment of the week. What
right.
do we got?
Hitting the
Let's-
shower.
No, I think we did shower last week.
Hitting the shower.
Yeah.
We did shower last week, so let's do
Comment hose.
It was his word. It was his word last week. It's you
Let's
this week.
do-
hose. Hose.
hose.
Hose?
Let's do hose.
Oh wait, no, not
H-O-S-E, right?
H-O-S-E.
Okay.
Not H-O-O, not H-O-E-S.
Please,
H-O-S-E.
please don't spell that wrong.
Yeah, don't spell that
Hose.
wrong.
Water hose.
Well, technically,
Water hose.
Well, HOES is a gardening tool.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Either way.
So,
Water
but
hose.
in this generation, in my immature mind, it means something else.
Yep.
But yeah, so next week, well, I guess, was this technically our first episode of the off season?
No. It's the
Nah.
last one of the. It's the last
So
one
it's-
of the season.
Yeah.
It's the last episode covering the 23-24 season. So next week, which will be episode 11, we'll be previewing we're going to be doing a lot of research over this next week or over this weekend, building some free agency stuff. I'll let you guys know, obviously, what we decide to do. And we're also going to we'll preview like the top 5, top 10 picks, because next Wednesday and Thursday is the 2024 NBA draft. So be on the lookout for that.
Yep.
And then June 30th at 6 p.m. is when free agency begins. Obviously, teams can talk to players right now because when the finals ends, the next day you can start talking.
Mm-hmm.
But contracts won't be official. You won't be seeing Woj and Sham's official tweets until June 30th at 6 p.m.
Good.
So just as kind of just general housekeeping for us, we got that. Next week we'll be doing our free agency stuff. The week after we'll think of something. Episode 13 we'll be grading every signing, and then it'll just be off-season stuff up until we do our preseason power rankings in September and October, and then the season begins again. So
Well, we'll also talk about Summer Olympics and Summer League.
Nice.
that's right. I forgot
Exciting.
about that.
We'll talk
Yeah.
about both of those in
Yep.
between, after free agency, after draft,
We'll definitely
after
cover the
trades.
Olympics.
Yeah. Also talk about the new format for the week of shorts.
That's right. We have a new format of shorts coming out, but it won't be until next week.
Okay.
So I'll talk about it next week. But basically, everything you see, whether it's draft, 20 questions, guess the players, we're going to reduce those from twice a week to once a week, and they'll be replaced with other stuff that
Nice.
we'll come out with. So if you guys are new, remember to drop a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel. If you are new around here, we are on the road to 1,200 subs. Obviously, we're trying to get to 2K, 10K, just trying to grow. And hit the little bell next to the subscribe button so that way you'll be notified every single time we upload, which is every day. If you're on Spotify, make sure to follow us on there. Give us a 5-star rating wherever you get your podcasts. Answer the polls. We always post them every week. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok at FloorSpacerPod. Be sure to follow our personal Twitters, which you can see below on the screen right now, including Gio's new Twitter. Make sure you blow that shit up. And
What's he doing?
I don't know. He's pointing to the
Down below.
to the socials.
Oh, you doing that? Okay.
You
I'm
gotta
like,
point to
yo,
them.
what is happening over here?
I hope that.
In the overlay. I hope it points directly to it.
Well, I hope it shows up because remember we're on the little like
Oh.
skinny things, so I don't know.
We'll see.
It's not up here. It's down here.
No, it's definitely not up there. But yeah, anything else from you, lovely gentlemen across from me, or I guess on to the sides of my screen?
No.
Team Woj
Team Woj.
for the off season.
Team Woj, congratulations once again to the Boston Celtics on
Yep.
winning banner number 18. We hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you all for watching. We love you all endlessly, and as always, we'll see y'all next Wednesday.
Let's get it. Peace out.